Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to what is, in this case, Hunting with Purpose. I've decided not to do Doomlink's live hunts because I am today joined by Ethan, who hasn't actually joined for a live stream in at least a while by this point. I imagine we'll be doing not random hunts, but specific hunts, which is why I'm going to do it in Hunting with Purpose. So, yeah, it'll be good fun to sit down and play 4 Ultimate for the first time, I think with Ethan, certainly. But for the first time in a while with Ethan, at the very least.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I have a beverage today, a very good one, actually. Very frustratingly, yesterday I bought a bottle of Archel. This is Zundert, and it was rancid. It was disgusting. I've had Archel before, absolutely lovely beer, but that particular bottle was just terrible. I brought it back today, and the guy was nice enough to exchange that one for a different one. I paid the difference and got Zundert. This is a Dutch Trappist beer that I've never had before, which I've always been wanting to have, so I'm going to have it for the first time on camera today. And I'd say this is an auspicious occasion enough to have it. Just got to get the right angle to open it here. So yeah, the plan is to, at this stage, make one of Ethan's next armor sets in G rank. I should get everyone watching up to speed on what's actually happening with Ethan's progress in the game. He is endgame G rank, as far as I'm concerned. Endgame, well, yes, you have killed Gogmazios. Endgame, as far as I'm concerned, is when you have beaten what is effectively the final boss of the online story, and then you're just working on whatever takes place after that point, which is usually building your character and things of that sort. At the moment, we're working on building his character. So far, he has really only used the Charge Blade and the Sword and Shield on this character, and we're now moving into Hammer. I wouldn't say that we can safely cap off the Sword and Shield and Switch or Charge Blade use that he's done so far. We haven't really made armor sets for those, and we haven't really made many weapons for those weapon types, but he did end up getting a really good talisman, which was a KO 3-slot plus 7 talisman from melding, and as soon as I saw that, I said to myself, and actually aloud to Ethan, well, we're going to make you a hammer set now. And there was obviously no complaints there, because Hammer is a big fan of Hammer. So yeah, that's what we're working on at the moment, and what we will be working on in this recording. So yeah, we go.
I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Alrighty.
Also, I wanted to make a note of something. The other day I was playing so I've been playing 4U on my own because I've been wanting to play Monster Hunter and get the itch scratched, but I haven't been wanting to play World, because even though World is what got me back into wanting to play Monster Hunter, like with Tyler, I was like, I just got to play a real one. So I started playing 4U, and then I wanted to catch up with all of my side stuff that I had to do on my own. So I was like, I'll do all my offline stuff. I'm sitting here playing in G rank in the village quests, and I start out struggling because it's been a while since I've played the game. And I get comfortable. I'm starting to like hunt like my old self again. And then I went to my parents' house, and at my parents' house, I had left my PS5, and I was like, well, I want to play Monster Hunter, but I don't really have anything to play. So I know what I'll do. I'll play Monster Hunter World, because I have optional quests in the story that I have to knock out to improve my Celiana. Man, when I tell you, it was like hunting in slow motion. I was like, holy shit. It is a vastly easier game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, I felt like I had superpowers or something. You remember X-Men First Class, where Quicksilver, like everything around him just kind of slows down, and he sees the Matrix, and he's just like, he can move a knife, and I don't know. It was crazy, man. Like, I was fighting in G rank, and honestly, the only reason that the quests weren't ending in like 3 minutes is because of the fact that they require you to use the Clutch Claw to weaken the monster.
Yeah. Well, that's funny.
But
so
yeah.
that was after having played 4 Ultimate recently. You went and played World, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's really funny that was the impression that you had coming straight off of 4 Ultimate. But yeah, it's not really something you can argue with, because your brain really shifts itself into gear to play a certain game and then you start to see the actual difference in what is required of you mentally and perhaps physically as well with your hands on the controller when you go from one game to the other game, and then you actually feel that discomfort sometimes if it's a really different experience. And there you go. It feels like it's slow motion apparently for World. That's funny.
Yeah, it really felt like it was slow motion. Like, it was so many openings for the monsters. It was like, first of all, my mobility was insane.
Hmm.
I was just, I looked like Sam in his old Nergigante runs. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely crazy. I didn't expect to get on and have such little trouble. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kitted out. I'm kitted out for G rank in that game, but like early G rank, and I'm just flying through it.
Fair enough. I certainly would not be playing that game again anytime soon. But, yeah. I realised that in those circumstances you thought it would be a good idea.
I wouldn't mind it so much if the game didn't bloat the monster's health the way that it does. I think there are things about it that I've told you that I like. Like, I love the Sword and Shield additions that they made, which I think that they could totally do that on one of, like, if you were handed the assets for an older game and they were like, all right, use this animation so that you have this ability on Sword and Shield. Like, this is one of the things that always frustrated me. You know how Super Smash Brothers had an entire community that developed a game using assets from Super Smash Brothers Melee, and it's called Super Smash Brothers M, and a whole bunch of the community plays that game because it's easy to get your hands on, it's free, and it is like a version of Super Smash Brothers Brawl with all of those characters and all those assets, but with melee movement and controls. Why don't we have that in the Monster Hunter community? Why does the Monster Hunter community not take the massive amount of assets from the older games, which, by the way, are all relatively interchangeable since they all use the exact same engine, and somebody make a modded fucking game that has,
It's a
like,
good question, yeah. I don't know what's
there's
involved.
so much you could do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's involved either, but it just seems like such a waste.
Well, I feel like if we did have a more intimate understanding of what was involved with modding Monster Hunter, maybe we would have a better understanding of why the modding scene in the monster hunting community has been pretty non-existent. Until, recently with some additions made to older games, like Freedom Unite Complete, for example. And I suppose some of the work done to bring older Monster Hunter games online again with servers, but that's all quite basic level modification compared with what you're describing, Ethan. So I wonder why we haven't really seen much of that in Monster Hunter. It's a good question.
Oh, I'll tell you my theory. My theory is that in the West, in particular, the number of people that are articulate enough with computers and modding in particular, because this is a very specific set of skills, the Venn diagram of people who can do it and people who would want to do it, or people who are in the actual community of Monster Hunter players. Because you remember, Monster Hunter used to be, back in these days, these older games, it used to be that you had to be grandfathered into Monster Hunter. You had to be brought in by a hunter who knew what they were doing. You couldn't just play Monster Hunter. You couldn't buy it off the shelf and just get good at it. Like, you would get confused, you'd get frustrated, you'd be like, all right, I need help. So you'd seek information elsewhere. World comes out on Steam. Instantly, there's a mountain of mods for it.
Yeah. Well, that's right, yeah.
Because now there's a wider demographic of people. And the idea, what it boils down to really, is that there are so few people that have the capability to mod in the first place. And that finding them in the community of early Monster Hunter game players, they are the people that are doing stuff like just putting the servers back online. That's who we have.
Yeah.
But everybody played Super Smash Brothers Melee. I just wish that we had that community, because I really do genuinely think, like, if you look at just the assets from Monster Hunter Portable Third, because I feel like you wouldn't have trouble getting your hands on those assets. That would be a great starting point to jump off of, because it's not coded for the 3DS, it's coded for the PSP, which is like much friendlier to I don't, or at least whatever the coding language they used for it was. I think it would be easier to interpret and definitely get your hands on the assets, and then you could just start playing with it, make your own cool version of Monster Hunter that has a storyline that was written by a fan, a whole new system that they decided to add. I don't know. I'm getting too deep in the sauce. I haven't even gotten into online play yet or multiplayer. But
Yeah.
what room
Speaking
are you in?
of which, yeah, I'm in U.S. public FAD number 3. So I did
FAD?
join, FAD U.S. public number 3. So I did end up joining a room with one other guy, and he immediately said, "Could you help me with a quest?" And it's not like I have anything against helping people. It's just that's not quite how we're going to proceed with things here. We're going to focus on working on Ethan's tasks, and I'm not really opposed to helping someone else, but I don't... Not quite yet. Not quite yet is what I would say. Hey RXYarn, good to see you in the chat. I do have a hub up as well. Let's figure out which monster we're going to hunt first, actually. I think it was Ukanlos, a Cantor, and was there anything else? I forgot precisely what you...
Ukanlos, you can't... oh my gosh. Whatever it is for the brace of Amat. And then...
yeah. Let me actually check that out, because basically the Anat set... Yeah, so the Anat set is required for one of Ethan's pieces. And let me just figure out. So if I go to my own Forge screen and have a look at Braces of Anat. So Goddess's Embrace, that is specific to an event quest. Now I did check that sometime before, but I actually forgot what event quest that is, so I will bring up my decks now and get information on that. It's done for you decks. And I can just basically search by item. Not that you will be able to see it, my dear audience, and that is because I'm too lazy to share the screen with you. You'll just have to accept my explanation of what's going on. I'm currently searching in the item section of the decks, Goddess's Embrace. It is a DLC quest called Twilight of the Gods, which I seem to remember being a Diablos quest. Twilight of the Gods. It is, yes, it's Diablos, and what? It's in the arena. Is it Apex? I suppose we'll find out. But yeah, we do need to do that. And we shall do that. Okay. Let me just... Yeah, every time I minimize the emulator, I have to warn you, it will slow down. That's just something that happens. I did actually... So Ethan asked me a very sensible question a few days ago, and that was... Is the most recent build of Citra better than these old custom emulators that we're currently using? My answer was no, but I realized that was... So, I was not sufficiently informed to give a good response to that question because I had tried the latest Citra Nightly. But very strangely, when you download Citra using their client, client, it gives you a very old version by default. And then one would only assume then that you have the latest version because you've just downloaded Citra from their client, from their website. You actually have to wait until... I'm sure you can manually update, but you're not going to manually update if you think you have the latest version. And then you have to go and get a prompt if you don't realize that you need to update, which doesn't always come. So I never got that prompt. It wasn't until I randomly opened... well, not randomly opened. There was a reason for it. I opened Citra again to look for the settings to turn on Vulkan support, because I was telling someone else that I wasn't having a smooth experience with the latest version of Citra, and they were saying, well, even with Vulkan you're having problems? And I said, well, I wasn't able to find any settings for Vulkan support, so I assumed it was just on by default in the backend or something. Well, it's not that it was on by default, it's that it wasn't even an option because I didn't have the latest version. So I went and updated it. And quite frankly, even with Vulkan enabled, it's not stable. It will still drop occasionally, down to 99%. And that's without actually being on a hunt. So that doesn't really bode well for being on a hunt. I don't really think I can blame my computer, because my computer doesn't have this kind of problem with anything else. So therefore, the problem to me is Citra, or the game. Probably the game. So, yeah, I mean, my computer's getting a little bit old these days. It's the CPU is an i7 7700K, and the GPU is a 1080 Ti. It's sort of quite an excellent system for 2017, but for 2023, not so. But this is a 3DS game from the early to mid 2000s, so why would the top-end PC of 2017 be struggling to emulate it? It's just stupid, and even with the most updated version of Citra, to me, it's absurd, and I'm actually quite sick of it, but yeah, I'm just using what works, and that is Valentin. Valentin is largely stable, is giving me minimal difficulties, so I can see we've got another person.
He is Hunter rank 7, my friend.
T-Boner. I will just let him know that we are not doing high rank stuff. It feels a little bit, I feel like we're excluding him a little bit, but the reality is that we do have specific tasks that we're trying to get taken care of. So, he's saying, okay, my bad. It's not his bad. He doesn't actually know what our hunter ranks are until he comes in and checks, so that's not a problem. Yeah, I would be quite happy to support people who are in this rather small and at this stage burgeoning community. It's only been rather recently that people have started to come in while playing on mobile devices with new characters. So I do want to help those people out, but yeah, just now is not the time is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so Twilight of the Gods, I will organize myself for fucking Diablos. I'm not looking forward to it. I do not enjoy Diablos at the best of times, but this is probably going to be some kind of special event quest where it's going to be more difficult than usual, so I may actually just chicken out and go Insect Glaive. A little bit cheap, but also serves as a good warm-up, so it'll be fine. I don't have an Ice Insect Glaive, which sucks, so I will go with Blast. Apparently, the guy who was just in here was asking for advice on how to kill Brute Tigrex, and Ethan was giving him some advice in the chat there. But yeah, Insect Glaive is never a bad recommendation. It tends to work, and that's because it obviously is based around the mounting mechanic, and the mounting mechanic in 4 and 4 Ultimate is broken, because Capcom...
The funny part was when you were saying...
yeah.
As I was typing that, you were saying, I might chicken out and play Insect Glaive.
I'll tell you what, it confused me,
like,
Ethan. I thought you were... I didn't actually read what was going on. I thought you were typing to me, because it just worked with what I was saying. And I thought you were telling me that I should use something with a shield, and I'm like, what? To start with, why? And then, second of all, why are you typing that to me? And then I realized you were talking to that guy, so... Yeah. Okay. I think I am set up for this quest. I'm a bit scared. If it's fucking Apex, I'm not going to have much enjoyment.
You know what, though? I believe in us.
It's Apex.
Woo!
Ooh, well, I mean, we have succeeded before, so...
Do we need to bring one of those, Y-stones?
Yes, you will require the Force Y-stone, and then it's up to you whether or not you bring a second one. The Force Y-stones.
I mean, where's that?
I think you already have them equipped, so I don't even know where you can check. I seem to have forgotten. I'll look through my own status. Is it not listed in equipment? Where can you check what Y-stone? Do you have to go to the Elder Hall? I do know that we have fought Apex monsters before, Ethan, and you did have Y-stones. Or am I remembering that incorrectly?
You're remembering that incorrectly. You and I have never fought one together. I have fought one on my own. and I loved the Y-Stone mechanic. I thought it was really cool, and I was terrified by the one that I fought. I thought it was a great fight, but it was the first one I had ever fought.
I'm quite sure that we did. So I remember. This is interesting. For some reason, I assumed that you had Y-Stones, but now that I think about it, it wouldn't make sense for you to have Y-Stones. But we did do something that was Apex. I think it was maybe Diablos. Do you remember helping a guy who was posting Diablos quests? Or maybe this wasn't with you. Maybe it was.
No, that was during a stream.
That was during a stream. Okay, that's strange. I had remembered that as you and I playing together. Okay, so we need to figure out Y-Stones for you. It's not technically required to have Y-Stones to fight Apex monsters, but it would be severely ill-advised to fight them without Y-Stones. The most important one being Force Y-Stone, and what that does is it allows you to hit through the Apex armor, so the monster will become very armored, probably on the majority of the hit zones that you can possibly make contact with, and it'll be like having a really blunt weapon. You'll just bounce off, and I don't think you do much damage either at that point. There will be maybe one or two parts of the monster that is soft, but the rest won't even be able to be made contact with effectively unless you have the Force Y-Stone. So, no, sorry, Drive Y-Stone. Force is the damage one. So you can get increased attack with Force Y-Stone. Drive Y-Stone is the one that lets you hit through armored monsters in Apex form.
Well,
so
I only have access to Brace and Force, and I just bought a Force, but I don't see where it says how much they cost. It's just like, here, take this.
You have to actually unlock the Drive Y-Stone through a quest, or villager request, something like that. But I do believe it's from the guy who, like the research assistant. Are you getting any prompts at all for...
Nope. The only stuff I have left that's not spoken, or that's not already done, are all G-rank urgent quests. Those are all of my chat box quests that I have left in the story.
Okay. Time to avail myself of Google services.
Yeah, that being said, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist somewhere. I just don't know where.
Yeah. For ultimate Drive Y-Stone.
My Wycoon is absolutely printing money, baby. I've got all his stuff finally maxed out, too. I've been working, man. Alright, I need...
Okay, so there is apparently a caravan quest called, well, it's a battleground hunt with Rusted Kushala. Have you done Rusted Kushala, do you recall?
No.
Okay. Well, this sucks. I mean, you've taken all this time to do all this offline stuff, and then we're here playing together, and then there's still something to be done. That's shitty.
Well, I mean, it's not something that I can't do, right? Where is it?
It says Caravan 10. Apparently when you complete that, it allows you to start unlocking more Y-Stones. It's possible that because... You may have actually done it, Ethan, I don't know, but if you don't remember doing... It's sort of a memorable monster, I feel like you'd remember doing it.
Nope, I didn't do it. Wait. Is it the one at the end of the story?
Possibly. I don't know.
It's a big cutscene. It's got the scar on his face, because that's the final one that unlocks Hunter Rank 10. That's the monster that unlocks Hunter Rank 10.
It's possible that you have done it, and that's why you have Y-Stones, so...
Yeah, I just don't have the Y-Stone that I need.
Yeah, so let's figure out. So, I'm on GameFAQs. What I'm seeing here is a list of quests that need to be done to unlock it. So Frenzied Tiger Stripes Amtrios, which sort of works. I think we want materials from him anyway to make the hammer that we're going to start with for your hammer set. Then there's G2 Double Frenzied Nursilla subspecies. I forgot what the S stands for. Shrouded Nursilla. Frenzy Shrouded Nursilla double quest in G2. G2 Desert Celters / Cephadrome Frenzied mode. And then G3 Azorathalos Brachydios, and that gives the level 2 drive stone. I don't know if this is from villager requests, or if it's literally just completing those specific, seemingly random G-rank quests will give you the drive stone. So, I just would have imagined that you would have been prompted to do those quests as part of a villager request cycle of some kind, and then... Whatever. We can try that. I'll see if there's a frenzied tiger stripe that can be done at all. I'm not really complaining. It means that we don't have to do Twilight of the Gods. It's actually a good thing. Alright, do we have a frenzied tiger stripe anywhere? He's not frenzied.
I'm curious though. I'm real curious about whether or not I have those done now.
Okay, so it's an advanced quest. It's Tiger Shark. If it's advanced, then maybe it rotates. In other words, it appears sometimes and then other times it doesn't. So, I do happen to have it, so we'll start there. I know that we haven't done this quest, so I think Tiger Stripe Zamchus is going to be step 1.
Alright. Now that I have fully maxed out food, I'm still gonna eat for Defender High.
Well, it is a... Look, Defender High is a solid feline skill. One of the best. It's helpful in pretty much any hunt that you depart on, so it's a solid choice. It's just Ethan's been telling me off camera that he always eats for Defender High no matter what, but it's not a bad choice at all.
Unless I'm fighting something that has an elemental advantage against me, and then I'll eat for whatever element I need, and then I'll usually not get the element boost.
Right.
So I
Well,
end
that's
up
always good fun.
wasting the food. So,
Yeah. Alright, Tiger Shark.
Yas.
I'm going to be using a fun but less effective pierce set to my usual one. My usual one is just absolute balls to the wall, heavy damage with a heavy bowgun. This is lighter damage, but it's more fun and a little different. So it's basically rapid pierce, high affinity. So you can see I've
What are
got
you
critical
eating for?
god. What did I eat for? I ate for Pyro and Acrobat. So grants a quick recovery when sent flying by an attack, and then I don't really have any benefit from Pyro for this quest. But yeah, my skills with this set are Critical God, use any Pierce S. That must have been beneficial for one of these levels. Okay, levels 1 and 3 are benefiting from load any Pierce S. Bonus shot, obviously, for the rapid fire, and Pierce up. I have a feeling that this rapid fire is level 2. Yes, because it's the only one that this gun naturally loads. So my reasoning was that if I ran out of Pierce level 2, I'd be able to shoot different levels of Pierce, courtesy of use any Pierce S. And then obviously Pierce up. And my affinity ends at 70%. So it's just a fun set. In practice it is not as effective as my other one. Like, it's noticeably less effective. Probably still good, but just not unreasonably excellent. So, yeah.
Band name called it.
And what was that?
I said band name called it.
What are you talking about?
You said unreasonably excellent, and I said that's a band name. I'm calling it.
Oh, I see.
'Cause it's a dope
Unreasonably
band
excellent.
name.
Yeah,
Wait, don't take off. Don't take off.
It defaults to no, fortunately.
Why did you buy jerky? Should I buy jerky?
Not for
never
this
mind.
quest.
That's no. I just realized what we're fighting. I completely forgot. Never mind. We're good.
You must
We're
have seen
good.
your Sergio's weapon and then suddenly gotten flashbacks to bleeding.
Yeah. I'm traumatized real bad.
Hey, P. Berry, good to see you. Alright.
Look where I am. Ooh, free stuff. Let's go.
I may as well take
Got
a
me an
nap seeing as though
adamant-
I'm here.
Got me an adamant orb. Be jealous. Ooh, 2 of them. Be jealous. Ooh, an enduring charm.
Oh, yes. Let us not forget to go to the large screen. Do not want to make that mistake. Alright.
You know, I bet
actually...
you Citra does a really good job of emulating all sorts of 3DS games that aren't Monster Hunter.
Yeah, well, even Double Cross is considerably better than this one in terms of how it runs. I was just going to say that I took the longest possible route to get to this monster, probably because I forgot what we were hunting. If I ever seem like I'm going in the totally wrong direction to get to the monster, it is much less likely that I simply am unaware of where the monster is, and considerably more likely that I have to take sometimes as long as 30 seconds, depending on what's on my mind or what's distracting me, to remember what it is I'm actually fighting. So, that's my little problem.
Oh, he looks angry.
Yeah, so this is Frenzy. He is afflicted by the Gormagala virus. And if you use
Oh,
Y-stones,
no.
you can actually get increased damage.
He
It's
has
not
Ligma?
so much... What was that?
He has Ligma?
You're gonna have to elaborate on what you mean by that.
Ligma is like a fake internet virus. For like Ligma balls.
Yeah, well, I got the lick my balls part, but anyway.
Yeah. It's just
Whatever.
old. It's boomer comedy.
No, it's not. That's not boomer at all. If that's boomer, then we are both utterly ancient,
Hey,
because it's like what?
the internet moves fast, buddy.
It sure fucking does.
Oh
Seriously.
my god. Fuck this guy. Look at his stupid face. Yeah, get wrecked, buddy.
Oh, you're about to get wrecked. Oh, he jumped
No,
past
no.
you. He must have been after me.
Oh, he was. He certainly was. He doesn't like you.
And P-Berry says he also might have Sugma.
Not Sugma, bro. It's Terminal.
Well,
Oh, this guy's beefing with me, dog.
it doesn't particularly matter if he's got a terminal disease. He's not gonna survive this quest. No! I was reloading, you prick. No, he's after me. I have to get ready to dive.
Wait,
That's
how is he after you? How much damage are you fucking doing with that thing?
A decent amount. Again, it could be better, but it's pretty
Bro,
good.
how did I not get mounting damage right there? Stop running from me, whore.
I don't think mounting damage can be applied if you hit something like a tail, for example. I think it has to be part of the main body. It's probably not true, though. That's not to suggest that it has to be a body hit zone. I think it's just there are certain hit zones that are designated not mountable. Like a tail, for example. But I could be wrong.
Right.
No,
No, I think you're
Almost
right. And it's harder to get mounting damage on him when he's tall like that. Because his mounting spots get higher.
That was disgusting.
yeah.
I just got mounting damage on the tip of his nose, which sort of logically contradicts what I just said, but probably still makes sense in a way because the face is probably included as the body.
Please no hit.
Yeah, please no hit.
Alright, let's get an SAD off on him. Big damage, baby, big damage. You thought, oh man, what must it be like? You know, you fall over, and then you just start getting kicked in the face.
What must it be like?
Oh no, I'm gonna block that, buddy. Sorry, I'm not feeling it. I appreciate the effort. Oh! Hey, you getting a kick out of that, bud?
Well, yeah. It's pretty funny to watch this giant inflatable shark thing roll over
toy.
you.
Oh, he's gonna get me. He's gonna get me. I'm healing. Never let Monster and 4U watch you heal. Especially in G rank.
Far out. He's getting me with a double whammy. Just in case I
he's
wasn't...
got you in the wombo combo.
Yeah, well, it was a fucking wombo combo, except he was too damn slow. And you see, because
Too
I
slow,
was
bud.
paralyzed... This is the irony. If I hadn't been paralyzed in that moment, I wouldn't have sheathed my weapon, and then I wouldn't have been able to dive out of that situation. That was extremely fortunate.
Life's full of little mysteries like that, you know?
Fucking mystery is how this guy's not dead yet.
I don't know. He's You know, you always talk about how he's the Plesioth of 4U.
Well, he is. He's worse, actually.
Yeah, he's definitely a tough fight for sure. I am just farming this dude.
It's very dangerous to use rapid fire against him.
Oh, you thought. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, what is happening?
Oh! I was reading the chat and now I've got a large
He's
tiger
wait,
shark.
he's eating both of us.
Oh, well,
Like, I'm on the ground right now.
yeah. Oh, I see that you used a dung bomb. That's slightly annoying
No, I
because I
didn't.
think he was going to limp out anyway. Well, not limp.
I
but-
didn't have a dung bomb on me.
Oh, one of our cats would have done it. That's funny. I don't actually agree with that. I don't think that that's appropriate because dung bombing a monster, if you can get out of it, out of a pin attack and survive it, and you know you're going to survive it, you should be able to reserve the right to not dung bomb it. But if your cat does it automatically, then you might have to suffer the inconvenience of the monster leaving the area when you perhaps didn't want it to. So I don't like that. Because I don't know if any of you have seen it, but there have been times when I'm being pinned and some guy dung bombs because he's trying to be helpful and it just causes me to blow a fuse.
Alright, I'm gonna sharpen real quick.
And I shall heal.
I mean, I hate to say it because every time I say something like this, I end up getting smacked around. But this hunt has been remarkably easy
Yep. Oh, I'd say the flow has
compared to
been
the
good.
last time we hunted him.
Oh, why is he not sleeping? What's that about? Is it because he's
hoe.
very sick? There you go. I knew that he had left because he was weak, but he for some reason decided not to sleep, so...
He's just being a hoe. You know how it goes.
And what's his going rate?
Fucking not high.
One would hope not.
Oh yeah, give me that sweet carbolite ore.
P-Berry says
do you
his
see him?
choke on ma makes it hard for him to sleep. Haven't heard choke on ma before.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I just don't
It's
enter these parts of the internet
exclusively-
where people communicate like this. It's something I take
Nah,
considerable pride in, actually.
Tokonma is exclusively no. Listen, it's exclusively affects Final Fantasy VII weebs, like the people that are excessively in love with Final Fantasy VII. It's only for them.
I
They're the
see.
only ones that catch it. Yeah.
We're talking...
Now there will be people
yeah.
that tell you that you know that's not where you get it, but it is. You know.
Well, I do feel better informed.
You should. Yeah, you should, because I'm basically an expert if you think about it.
Are you hinting at something here? Are you
I feel like I'm
actually...
being pretty explicit, am I not?
What, that you suffer from choke on ma?
Yeah, terribly.
Well,
Like it's
whose?
it's rough. It's rough. I'm kidding. bro. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, he has to go and finish choking on one. That's Look, I wasn't expecting to have such a penetrating and arresting conversation with Ethan about mental health, but that's what we've just had. It's been illuminating. We've discovered that he is actually suffering from a considerably debilitating mental condition called trochonma. And look, at this stage, I need to make a decision as to whether or not it is serious enough to have an intervention right here, right now, psychologically, before things get out of hand. So, yeah, we will find out after the break. But, Yeah, so we will be doing a different quest now. It will be G2 Double Frenzied Shrouded Nursilla. Now, presumably, all of these quests are going to be advanced quests. I, however, do not know if they could possibly not show up at all. Like, because they're advanced quests, does that mean sometimes they don't show up? Nobody knows. Well, I'm sure somebody knows, but I don't. I shouldn't suggest that nobody knows just because I don't know. That would be not the sort of insinuation I'd like to make. Alright. I do have the quest, that's what's important. I'm sure we can two-man it. I don't imagine we'll struggle. Forgotten the weakness of Shrouded Nursilla. It's something weird, it's not what you'd expect. I would expect fire, right? But I don't think it's fire. Let's have a look. Shrouded Nursilla. Wherever he is. In the list of monsters. I'm blind, so I will type it in. Ice. Fire is admittedly a secondary weakness, but he's not very elementally weak. As far as monsters go, I wouldn't look at his elemental weaknesses and say, element is a good choice. If you have to use element, go ice, but yeah, he's not tremendously weak. Alright. What should I use is the next question. Something that is mobile. I seem to think that, or seem to recall, that Nursilla likes to move around a lot. So, I guess Charge Blade will go with that. I don't think... Oh, I do have a nice Charge Blade. What precisely are you saying, Doomlink? What are you suggesting? I actually have an elemental and impact file choice when it comes to ice, so I really was quite profoundly off target when I said that I didn't, or was about to say that I didn't have any ice options for Charge Blade. I, at this stage, feel like using impact file. I hope I didn't say power file. If I said power file, I'd like to think that you know what I meant to say. To report on my impressions of Zundert 10, I do not know 10 in Dutch, otherwise I'd be saying Zundert 10 in Dutch. It's good. It reminds me of the now closed Spencer Trappist Brewery in America. They had to close down because America's beer market has about as much good sense as the Australian beer market, which is to say, none whatsoever. They're so enamored with Indian pale ales that breweries that make good beer have to shut down because they're not profitable. Who would have thought? But yes, it reminds me of the Monk's Special Reserve. Similar flavour. Pretty good. Ethan, I saw you moving around there. Are you here?
I am. Yeah, I'm cooking dinner at the same time as I'm playing, so I had to go and turn the oven on and make sure my chicken was thawing out and stuff like that.
Well, it's very important that your chicken is thawed before you consume it.
I agree. You don't want to cook it when it's a little bit frozen. And then it just comes out rubbery.
Rubbery, like a rubber chicken. Which I could possibly lead into a joke, but I don't have the creative ability to do that right now. So our next quest is... Yeah, it's Double Shrouded Nursilla, both of which are Frenzy. When you say that you're cooking at the same time as you're hunting, what does that specifically entail? Like, can you get through a full hunt without needing to go and do something with your chicken, like choke it?
I'm bringing a Farcaster.
Oh. Just in case the urge is so powerful that you just...
Well, here's the thing. Right now I'm waiting for the oven to preheat.
Yeah.
So I can put the chicken in. But then as soon as I put the chicken in, I'll have a timer set to my phone, and then it'll be easier to manage.
So, At a certain point, you'll need to put the chicken in. That's what I'm hearing.
That is, yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay. That's good to know.
Is I don't remember. Is herbal medicine a thing in these games, the older ones?
Yes. They always
Okay,
are.
good, good.
Well, I don't recall that they were ever removed. I think they were first added in 2nd gen, but yeah, I don't recall them ever being removed, so...
I just feel like they're better than, or faster than antidotes.
Well, I wouldn't say that they're faster, but they are technically better. Because there's a fair chance that if you've been poisoned, someone else has been too. It depends on the monster, I'd say.
Oh, I have been spawned right on top of one.
Herbal medicines were excellent against Giganox, for example, because he had that outward poison attack. So there was a pretty good chance that someone else would have been poisoned along with you. I'm going to engage the one that you're fighting and then just paintball this one in the meantime. I don't actually know where you are.
I'm just in the main area.
Oh, the main area. Hopefully there is... Yes, there is a land bridge. That is good news. I've kept the top screen up the whole time. Oh, why is that slightly not right? You know what I'm talking about. On the far right side, a little bit of the bottom screen's coming through. I'll have to fix that. No.
This is a very big Nursilla right here.
Good to know. Let me just edit my crop slightly because that is distracting.
Ooh, he got me.
There you go, that's all I needed.
Mount on him. He's just tearing through me. Hold on.
I'll be there in a moment. Let me heal you. Dust of Life. Well, I got there a bit late, but still. So Nursilla was the first, I guess what you would call a test run of what would later become the wire bug concept. This idea that you're going to fucking shoot this wire and then swing from nothing.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
Oh, did not know this monster burrowed.
Well, I'm being...
I have got to heal.
I thought I was being pinned. That was a very protracted animation.
Stronger. She's much stronger than the one I fought in offline. Like, I mean, just hitting like a truck.
Well, yeah, you probably fought a high rank one.
No. I fought the G rank one.
Really? But was it shrouded?
Yeah.
Or the standard?
Yeah. The same one right here.
Well, this is not an event quest. This is the advanced quest, so I don't think it should be a different monster in terms of difficulty.
Well, no, it's the same monster. It's just it's just hitting harder.
Well, I don't have an explanation for you. Well, Jesus! I was running out of stamina enough already, and then you came in and hit me.
Yep. Fuck! Oh yeah, big damage, baby.
This person leaving and joining the area really fucked with my game performance. Well, not area. There was a person who joined and left the Citra room. And it caused my game performance to dip a little bit. I'm actually going to drop the resolution down because I'm not going to deal with any sort of...
Oh, there's another one in here. Shit.
Yeah, it's the one I was fighting before. Well, I hope we can keep track of the one we have been fighting. It's the one closest to us, right? The one that just hit me for the 5,000th time.
Yeah, he hit me too.
Alright, he's leaving. Let's pursue him. Or her. Because we can never refer to spiders as male. That's just unreasonable. Just absurd. Quite frankly.
I would agree. You know, like what kind of psychopath? Oh, hi. That seems like a cheap. Like I don't feel like I earned that.
We just watched a failed attempt to get over here from the Nursilla.
Yeah.
And the fucking thing gave up after that.
Oh, and here's the mount. What?
No, you got it.
Okay, I got it. I was about to get annoyed. I'm riding your spike and not in the, you know?
Yeah. I'm witnessing it. What am I doing? My very elementary abilities when it comes to using this weapon type are on full display.
Is that a limp already?
I don't know. Sometimes this thing moves like it limps. No, that is a limp, yep. Nicely done. Hey, bread
It
users.
ain't got no health.
The
Where
fuck
you
you
going,
doing?
Oh, never mind. She turned around. Wow.
I've never seen a monster struggle so much to get from one place to another. Well, I'm also struggling to do basic attacks.
Oh, you thought. Broke your clamp, didn't I? I sure did. Oh. Oh, you missed. You missed.
Glad I had the idea to shield there. Whoa. Well,
The other one found us too.
I got paralyzed very briefly. That was an extremely brief paralysis.
Where'd it go?
It's under the ground.
Underground?
Yep.
Ah. See if I can get one more mount. Nope, it ran.
And I got paralyzed for a second time. But this time I was not quite so... Thank you for hitting... do I appear to be a shrouded Nursilla to you? Is the monster moving at such... No.
I was trying to help.
I see. It's because I was paralyzed, I understand.
Yeah.
I thought perhaps the
was
monster
only-
was moving at such a speed that you just were not able to keep up with the events as they were unfolding before you.
Do I look like the monster you? Oh, you're fucked. GG.
Here you go,
How is it
that's
not
what I
dead?
want. That is precisely what I want. Oh, it's... No, it's not dead.
Oh,
I mean,
that's the... Hold on. That's the new one.
Are you
I'm
sure?
attacking the other one.
Are you sure? Well, I'm gonna
Yep, I was attacking the brand new one.
I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I'm performing to a very low level right now.
Well, it's never easy to perform when there's two monsters instead of just one. There's never a need for two in the same fucking room. Like, all you're gonna do is fucking throw a dung bomb at it anyway if you're well prepared. You're not gonna try and fight both of them at the same time. It's just not... It's pointless.
Well, I was anticipating that this one, the first one, would have been fucking dead by now, because it was limping some time ago. I mean, unless it wasn't a limp, it bloody well looked like one, though. Fucking hell, they're now mimicking each other. Oh, the one with full health just knocked the weak one on the ground. And now I've been fucking... This is just insufferable, actually.
Yeah, dude. It's... Yeah, I don't understand why they program it so it's like, oh yeah, like if there's two monsters, we'll just make it to where they're like more inclined to walk up on top of each other while you're in a fucking... It's just annoying.
Well, I think we should have just realized that this was a risk and then brought dung bombs or something. Maybe I do have dung bombs. I do. Well, I'm tempted to fucking use one. I am literally just minding my own business and then getting randomly and very targetedly fucking paralyzed. Like, you have to be in... Is he dead? No? That was a flinch. Fucking get out of here, you stupid creature.
Once we only have one to deal with, it's gonna be so much easier.
I don't know why I feel so just incapable
Because
of doing anything.
You're not playing bad. Like, you're just being punished for things that aren't your fault. And that's never fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that is for sure a limp. Alright, let's go get it.
Alright. Maybe that wasn't a limp before.
It wasn't.
Yes, I did notice that, P-Berry. I just... yeah. I thought I was keeping track of the monster and then realized that I was not.
Do you have an SAD? I don't.
I do, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sharpen.
Try to get his
Oh,
fucking
never
face.
mind. I do. I do. You want to time it?
Oh, you do have one. Sorry, yeah. I reckon save
Ooh.
yours for the other
I'll
one.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah.
Give me those fucking gooey insides. Come here. Oh, I'm gonna chop you up and I'm gonna use your words.
Okay.
Dude, fuck this bug. It pissed me off.
I'm carving his butt. Her
Yeah, me
butt.
too. Her, yeah. We hit the
Carving
her
a nice
for sure.
fucking steak out of that posterior. Mwah. Oh, look who's following us.
Oh, it's like Uber Eats.
Yeah. More butt to carve.
Or what was it? Deliveroo.
Yeah, Deliveroo. Which is not exclusively in Australia, I'll have you know.
Shields up, shields up. Where's she at? There she go. Yep, there she go.
Oh,
Oh,
all dry.
already up.
All dry, look at that. Fucking firing off blanks there. Must be nervous after seeing the other one dead.
No.
Well, let's see if I whiff it too. Hopefully not. Yeah.
Thanks for the lift.
Welcome. I'm bouncing, and as much as I would like to complain about it, I agree with those bounces. Or rather, I do not find them disagreeable, at least.
Oh. Damn, she is.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
I
Oh, here we
have
go.
a reasonable understanding of what you mean.
I didn't get SAD because I bounced.
Oh no. I chose the wrong time to go into axe mode. No!
You know what? I get it. I do.
Great minds think alike, you know.
We've all been there, you know.
Yeah.
Look at that hoe ass. Oh yeah, you're getting SAED. Let's go. That was aiming
Well.
at you.
You never know, you may have drawn her fire so that she didn't attack me while I was fucking incapacitated.
Now she's gonna come for me because I'm sharpening. Yeah, now I'll never bounce again. Beach. Oh wait, I can use this Y stone. Here we go. Yeah. Damage to frenzied monsters increased. Let's go. If I can fucking hit her.
I just can't actually get over how much I get paralyzed when she does that. It seems like the sort of attack that would be difficult for the monster to position on your person, but it happens a lot. It's either because I suck, or because the attack is... Yeah, see that? What you just shielded? That's... Yeah, I suppose it's... I suppose the monster has more control than I may have thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hitting. Please, please.
Yeah,
no
please no
hit.
hit. Fucking hell. That was the closest I have been to failing a mount, but not failing it, that I've ever been, possibly. Yeah, well,
Yeah, get fucked, bitch.
it was a bit of a waste of time, really.
Asshole. What, the mount?
I think so. I mean, it does
I know.
deal damage, but
Yeah.
for a monster that close to death, that was a lot of time to spend not hitting the monster.
I suppose that's fair. That's a fair point.
Your
Alright,
cat.
I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, dude, deal with your chicken.
Don't talk shit about him. He's beautiful.
No, I'm sorry, it needs to be shown to the world. Your cat is just...
He's beautiful.
He's got a toilet plunger? Oh no, it's not a toilet plunger. What is that? Oh, it's a music
Mine
note.
Yeah.
Well, from...
Bully?
Would have been quite funny that if your cat had a ladybug helmet and a toilet plunger. That would be an excellent combination. Yeah, I really wish it was. Fucking hell. Yeah, I think mine has a wand of some description. I don't know what my cat is decked out in this game. I have at no point, in 4 Ultimate at least, paid attention to my cat's loadout. I just gave it something in high rank and then left it that way. It's probably something... Ugh, how do I look at my cat? Palicos. So... Magical baton. A star-bright baton that turns the hunting ground into a dream come true. They employed someone to write descriptions for all of these, you realize. Like, think of how many descriptions had to be written for all the other weapons in the game, and then the guy just sits back, just... At this point, his shirt is off, he's just slick with sweat, out of breath, and then someone says, "Nice job, man. You ready to do that for all the feline weapons now?" Fucking hell. I mean, that's a big task. My emulator has been just, quite frankly, struggling. I don't know why. It's been struggling more so than it has in other recordings, so I don't know what it is, I don't know what the variables are, but I can tell you what the problem is. It's that Citra needs to go fuck itself, and it has yet to do that. So, yeah, I'm not impressed at all by Citra. I'm sick of it. Quite fully sick of it. Alright, next quest is I don't know, because I closed my browser window because I was frustrated by the terrible performance of my emulator during that hump. That's why I was so distracted and was playing like shit. I was dealing with that. Okay. Next quest is certainly something. Well, Peaberry, that is very encouraging to hear. That's all I will say to that. For Ultimate, drive Whitestone. So, next is Desert Celtus / Cephadrome Frenzied. And then a quest called Lab Partners in G3. Now, Lab Partners, presumably, relates directly to the place that gives you the Whitestones, because it is a lab of some kind. Where is Lab Partners? There it is. That's the quest. Ethan needs Brachydio's powders anyway, so that works. Quite well, in fact. I'm concerned that I might not actually have the quest that I need to do next, unless it's a G3 quest, but I don't think it is. It's like a Cephadrome and then something else, so... Presumably, I do not have it. I'll have to ask if Ethan has it, and if he doesn't have it, then... yeah, there you are. I should mention that this recording was entirely spontaneous. Ethan was on the way home and I realized that it was Sunday, which is the day when we can actually play together, and I was fixing to record, and then I thought, oh, I'll ask Ethan if he wants to join me in the live stream, and here he is. But he has obviously arranged to cook chicken, which might be difficult to do while he's recording, but yeah. It's alright. Sometimes you have to live life in the fast lane.
Only the fastest lanes
Yep.
over here. I don't know if I got any of my Nursilla parts because it timed out on that screen, so...
Yeah. Well, that's alright. At least that was not a quest where we needed the materials for you to make something.
Hey, I got a gold star crown, though. So that was a big-ass Nursilla.
Double check your G2 advanced quests, because there should be one that involves Cephadrome and like one other monster that I've forgotten, because I have the memory of a goldfish that's suffering the effects of long-term drug abuse.
Hunt a shrouded Nursilla, a desert Saltus Queen.
Yes, Desert Saltus Queen, that's what we want.
Escaped convicts?
So is it Desert Saltus and Cephadrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want. So I don't have it. It turns out that my suspicion that because it's an advanced quest, these quests are not always going to be there was correct. So that's just really fucking inconvenient, and it frustrates me that that's even a problem, to be honest. I'm going to change to a different loadout. Probably, what would be good? I think Cephadrome is primarily weak to ice, but I'm not really going to base my whole loadout on what Cephadrome's weak to, for fuck's sake. Let's have a look at...
should I bring?
Let's have a look at Mrs. Desert Saltus Queen, excuse me.
I'm running low on paintballs. I need to... You know what I'm saying?
I'm eternally low on paintballs.
And you can't... You have to gather paint berries, don't you?
No, you can multiply them. It's just the
Really?
stones that's frustrating, like for bomb casings. Oh no,
Oh,
it's
well,
paintberry
is
and sap plant or something like that, so you don't need bomb casings for that. But yeah, you can multiply the materials, or farm them, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, good. That's wonderful.
Always happy
Who's
to bear
messaged
good
me?
news. What was that?
Oh, I got a text from one of my coworkers. It was his birthday today, so I wished him happy birthday.
Does that mean you're super late or super early?
Super late.
Okay. Because it's like, what? 3 AM there or something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, better to wish him happy birthday than to not. Or her, I didn't catch.
Him, yeah.
Alright, so ice is going to be the choice of element for the next quest.
Can I tell you how much I wish that palicos were something that we had in real life? Like a race of humanoid cats that
we
were
enslave.
that size. Well, they would want to do it for us is the thing. Like, they'd love us. That's why they... Like, they would work for food, obviously. Like,
Well, yeah,
they
I
could
guess the
just
work
live in
for
your house.
food, yeah. Well, I like the idea
like-
of, you know, a companion that you can talk to that's like a cute feline and that actually can do more than just
yeah, dude.
be permanently beholden to you and like
Yeah,
be
imagine
fed.
you had a big, fat, adorable cat just chilling in your kitchen, and every time you came home, you were just like, "Hey, what are you cooking tonight?" And it's just like, "I got a bunch of options, bro."
Wow,
You
wouldn't
just
even
say
need to
the
get
word.
married at that point.
No, because you and your girl would be out hunting constantly, bro. Like, you and your girl would be out, like, conquering dragons. You come
Oh, yeah.
home, and your homie, I don't know what his name would be, Cheese Grater, is out here cooking you some fine du jour, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's out here
Yeah.
ratatouilleing it up.
Yeah. It's your own little personal home slave. That's Excellent.
And they could come like shopping with you and stuff. They would just like be cool little dudes that just hung out with you, and they wouldn't have to be slaves. Like I don't like the use of that word, because they would, you'd pay them in whatever way they would want to be paid and stuff like that. There's all sorts of cool stuff.
Will they unionize? Will they have protections against, like, unreasonable owners who make unfair demands?
Yes, of course. You mean like the furs?
The what? Oh, you mean like... Oh, well...
You know what I mean?
Look, I'm actually pleased to say, hand on heart, that thought had not even crossed my mind, so... If that's where your mind went, then congratulations.
Well, only in concern, I just wouldn't want to
Yeah.
see... I wouldn't want to see a poor cat get...
Well, it happens with
Abused.
dogs. I haven't heard about it with cats just yet, but it must happen. And I'd only imagine that if it talks, that would just make the whole experience just that much more enticing.
I don't know why it must happen.
Because... well,
I feel
on the
like
balance of probabilities, I think it has to.
I feel like you're having... That's some Thanos-ass language right there.
No, it's not. It's just being realistic.
I don't think it's a realistic expectation for people to fuck their cats.
When you phrase
I
it that way. It's... Yeah, okay. Well, it's...
Like
It's-
it shouldn't be like, you know how when the FDA is like, oh man, this food is allowed, but there's going to be at least X percentage of like rat feces in it, and that's going to be like acceptable. There should be no rat feces, metaphorically speaking.
But it happens, yeah. No,
But
that's
there
the way I
shouldn't
look
be
at
any
it.
rat.
But
You see what I'm saying? Like,
my problem with your phrasing is you make it sound as if there's a reasonable expectation that a cat owner is going to fuck their cat. What I'm saying is
that's
that
how you sound right now.
I'm saying that somewhere in the world someone's fucking a cat. That's what I'm saying.
Don't understand. Why?
Cause
Why would you manifest that?
You got us on this subject, which which was so far from my mind that words almost fail. Like, anyway,
Yeah, they almost failed, but they succeeded at the end, didn't they? Like, yeah, I might have got us on the subject, but you fucking you got us the degree. You know what I mean?
ugh, not with any pride attached to it, I have to say.
I can just imagine, right? Like you'd have like establishments, like bars and stuff, and then you walk in and the bouncer goes, "No cats," and then and then he'll say like, "Go get your owner now," and then and the guy won't do it. The cat won't do it, and then the boss will be like, just not paying attention. He'll be like, "Get him out of here," and he'll kick him out, not even realizing the cat's famous.
Right.
Like it's a famous cat.
What cat? What? Okay, you're gonna have to walk me along this hypothetical scenario a little bit more. Like, how is this cat famous? Like,
He makes videos on YouTube about Monster Hunter.
oh, okay.
And you're gonna kick him right out of your establishment just because he's a cat.
We'll go with that. That's a riveting story. You've just
It's a true story.
Oh right, yes. No, sorry, I don't know how I didn't pick up on that sooner. It was a good story though. It was funny.
Yeah. You know that he spoke about it in the Third Fleet podcast.
Yes, I heard about that. from you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, did I
that
tell you about it? I love talking about it. It's
no,
one of
the
my favorite
irony
stories.
is that when discussing the terrible Generations Ultimate community, he speaks of the time that I kicked him from a room for using a cat. But you see, I also complain about the Generations Ultimate community. So really, wherein lies the solution? That's the question. I do have to make it clear that I was not the one who kicked him. I facilitated. Well, I technically
You
was
pulled
the
the
one.
trigger.
I pulled the trigger, but it was not my decision, and I was not even paying attention at the time. I was off, doing whatever, and I was told, kick him now, and I'm like, fine, fuck. And then I realized that it was, what's his name again? Gaijin Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, he took it real personal too.
Yeah, he took to social media, and it was exceptionally funny. Like, actually, not that aspect of it, but the reaction from other people that I associate within the community, their reaction was pretty legendary. It was a funny moment. A good day.
Yeah, but it's not like you had any like beef with him or anything. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's hard to have beef with a person for whom you've never watched their videos, so yeah.
He makes pretty decent content. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of his older stuff, like back in the old school, like Monster Hunter days when he was posting that stuff, I enjoyed it. I would watch. I knew who he was before before ever finding out that you kicked him. It's not like I found out who he was after I found out that you kicked him, but
Well, that would be expected. He's fairly well known. I first came across him because of his content on Monster Hunter 4, because he was the premier uploader for Monster Hunter 4 content at the time, because he actually spoke Japanese but was also fluent in English, so he tended to have a better way of presenting the game than other people for that reason, in English. We just did a full fucking lap of this map and we don't know where this monster is, so I'm a little bit confused.
gotta be in 3, dude. Go to 3. That's the one place we didn't go.
I genuinely thought that we would have come here. This is the obvious place. I don't know why I didn't come here.
Is this
I'm
where
on
he
the
is?
edge of becoming genuinely angry. Like, this is the one game where I do not carry Psycho Serums because I haven't been able to purchase them.
Oh wait, here's the blimp. Hold on.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one here. Okay, that's cool.
I guess I'm not waving at him.
I don't have a Farcaster, but I know where he is.
It's in 2, yeah.
I'll go this way.
Oh, now he's in 3.
What? Oh, fuck me. Well, it's fine, I'm close by.
What's up, pretty eyes?
Kill him.
Cure him.
Can you believe that this is only one of 2 monsters?
Yeah,
This is the easy
absolutely.
one.
Well, the other one's not that hard either.
Harder than this thing. What did I just do?
Yeah.
I just double red shielded instead of doing an SAED.
Speaking of red shield, give me that. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Maybe I've
I'll
got an
save
extra
those
powerful
files.
red shield now.
Why is Plesiout so much harder than this thing? They're basically the same skeleton.
They look visually similar, except one has a rather phallic-shaped head.
Oh, plus water beam. Water beam is no bueno.
I don't know what happened to make the devs create Plesioth into that absolute abomination, but it definitely happened.
I know. I think about it too, and I'm just like, ew. Like what? The
Well, I
same
mean, in terms
guy.
of design, attack-wise, but visually, yeah, I guess.
No, visually, he's like disturbing to look at. It's like, ugh. If you saw that in real life, you'd be like, ew. And the smell? Could you imagine the smell?
Hmm. Very fishy, yeah.
Very fishy. Very fishy, yeah.
Alright, so we should be getting a spawning Desert Sultas Queen somewhere. I just don't know where. Where's the blimp? There it is. It's actually a balloon, not a blimp. Don't know why you said blimp. I used your terminology to be kind, and then I looked at it and realized, oh, that's a hot air balloon. Do I have to go
You should be
closer?
able to get your stamina back up to the minimum, like the starting stamina, by using the kickback gesture. You know how, like,
yeah.
without food, your stamina is, like, at 100?
Yep.
You should be able to get that back by using the kickback gesture for a
Oh.
certain amount of time.
I agree with that. Can I just say, everyone, that Ethan comes out with ideas for Monster Hunter that are better than most ideas that Capcom has come up with in 5 generations of Monster Hunter. I just want to put that out there. But particularly 4th and 5th generation. And it's simultaneously, like... Yes, it elevates Ethan, but it also really, really puts down Capcom that... You know, someone who just plays the game for fun. Just someone who... I think anyone, or at least most people who are really invested in Monster Hunter and really love the games, can probably come up with better ideas than Capcom when it comes to how to really make an amazing Monster Hunter game. But we know what their... I suppose what their intentions were with 5th gen, and it wasn't to create anything that we would have liked.
Well, I actually think that they could have their cake and eat it too if they were smarter about it. Like,
Yeah, well, they're not.
they can keep some of the older systems that people liked without getting rid of the ones that don't work well. Because there are systems in older games that don't work well. That's why they've done what they done to begin with. But if they would expand the systems and improve on them instead of just throwing them away, then, you know. And there's plenty of ways to do that. You just have to brainstorm. You know? And I think a lot about it, mostly because of all of the time that I've spent playing the game and trying to figure out whether or not I like things like 5th generation, and trying to figure out if it's actually genuinely better in the older games or worse, and why it's better and why it's worse. And I think it just depends on how you're measuring it, because if you're trying to figure out, like, oh man, like, which one of these boss in a box games is better, it's like, well, the one that's the better boss in the box game is the newer ones, because that's all it is. It isn't anything else, and it's a perfected form of that. That's why so many people have come to it. But the elements of it that made it, you know, more fun for people like us were the elements that they just didn't know how to improve the systems of, so they got rid of them. Like the survival elements and stuff like that.
I don't really agree with all of what you've said. I think there was a vision for Monster Hunter and then they abandoned it. It's really more simple than that. I think in theory, yeah, what you said makes sense, but I think in practice, they had a vision for Monster Hunter that was changed because the target audience changed, and the target audience became, you know, quite closely aligned with the desire to see a better financial outcome.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. I mean, of course that's what they did. You know, classic, just a business trying to make money at the end of the day, but
which I guess you can
understand.
respect, but it's hard to respect it when they did it so brazenly and honestly disrespectfully to the original fans. I mean, a way to have done it in a way that didn't disrespect the original fans would be to create a new IP. That's what I said from the beginning. It was like, why do we have to keep this being Monster Hunter? If they were willing to change so much, why couldn't they have just changed that much more to make it a different thing? Like, why cash in on the name of Monster Hunter at this point?
Simply put, it's just harder to sell a new IP than it is an old one.
But it's not like it was Monster Hunter 5, it was Monster Hunter World, and the advertising of Monster Hunter World was successful not because Monster Hunter was a known name. Yeah, sure, there were a lot of people who played Tri in the West who saw World and they were like, oh, I'm going to play this, yeah. I haven't played Monster Hunter in ages, but To me, the fact that they haven't played Monster Hunter in ages, therefore, does not make World more enticing to them. What was enticing was what World had to offer, not the name of Monster Hunter, if that makes sense. Like, there's a reason why they didn't play for so long. And it's not like it got worse after Try, it's just because they were probably playing games with friends, and those friends were not playing Monster Hunter, you know? It can be as simple as that.
I like the idea of bringing more people into the community. I just don't like the idea of destroying systems in the games and infrastructures and traditions that were really integral to the experience and removing them for the sake of convenience. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you know, there have been good ideas and bad ideas. I still think that you and me had the best ideas when we were talking about the open world Monster Hunter, where you could play 4-player co-op in somebody's world, and you had a caravan that you had to upgrade. You had to go to different towns, all on the map, by the way. There were different seasons and different areas. If you wanted to run into a certain type of monster, you had to like seek out wherever its environment was. And if you wanted to, you could use materials that you scouted in the field to create traps out in the field that would make your hunts easier. You could create bait to lure the monster in. There's all sorts of cool ideas that could be done. Oh, and because of the idea of seasons, one of the things that I liked was because of the idea of seasons, you might be in a different season than your friend who has the game, but you want to hunt that monster, and it's not available because of what season it is in your game. And you can just go to his world and hunt the monster there. And then it gives you a perfect incentive to play online with other people.
Yeah.
And then we also came up with the idea of like creating special pickaxes that come up that have different loot tables that are upgradable like any other item in the game.
Yeah, that was our most recent idea, which is such a good idea. You know, the fact that talismans are just terrible by nature. Like, the system is terrible. We can tolerate it for a certain number of games, but eventually it has to be improved upon. It was changed, but I don't know about improved upon. I think the whole way that they chose to evolve the skill system was simultaneously ineffective and insulting. But I do agree that the talisman system was bad. It needed work. I think what was extraordinary was that it didn't really change after Try, the first game that introduced it. Let's say that it did change slightly. We couldn't say that it literally remained unchanged, but in principle the system was you go out and you either mine or occasionally get charms from quests, and then you appraise that into a random talisman based on a charm table that you have in the back end. Now, this is the thing that had to change, not any of the other little things that may have changed. And someone's going to say,
I don't think you need talismans at all in the game. I think that they're a fun element to some games, but because of the fact that there's no really good way of adding them to the game that doesn't either make it too easy or too hard, what I would rather them do is just leave armor skills to the armors that you are building and give people a reason to mix and match armor sets. And I would say give less armor skills per set and make them just harder to get. Like, for instance, instead of getting you know how there's different level slots? Instead of having different level slots, have different level decorations so that a single decoration could be worth 3 or worth 1.
Yeah.
And then make the skills all harder to get and have levels to them, like the leveled skills, and make it harder to get the skills so that people are like really appreciate the skills when they have them. They really feel like they earned them. And you could go out and mine. Like, I'm going to mine for decorations, and the decorations would be as simple as, you know, like attack 1 versus attack 3. Like, attack 1, you'd have like a 1% chance of, or like a 10% chance of getting it on a mine, and on attack 3, you'd have a 0.001% chance. Because people would just want to load. I don't know if attack gems really need to even be in the game because you have weapon upgrading to begin with. But I think the problem that you have with all of the bonus damage stuff is that at the end of the day, everybody just builds for max damage. You know, and that's just as soon as you introduce a meta to the game, I feel like it just
Yeah, well, I mean, what is the concept of a meta? It's just the idea of having the most effective combination of skills or weapons or whatever to produce the most effect. But
I accidentally joined this guy's quest thinking it was yours.
Yeah, who is this guy?
I had no clue.
No, he wants to do Furious Rajang. We only have one more quest to do out of all of the ones that we're doing to get the Drive Wirestone. And that is a quest that is not an advanced quest. Would you be able to do me a favor and go to Dundorma and speak to the people who give you Wirestones? I'm just wondering if you've had any text progress. I just feel like you're going to get a quest that will allow you to unlock the Drive Wirestone. I have the quest, but I don't think there's going to be any point in us doing it if it's something you need to unlock first.
No text coming from them.
Have you unlocked anything?
Nope. Mm-mm.
What the fuck? Okay. Hopefully I haven't been led up the garden path. Oh, actually, that quest was an advanced quest that I was looking at. And it's not fucking here. It was when I last checked. Alright, there's a quest that I need you to... It's, let me remember. It's Azur Rathlos and one other monster. Let me try to remember.
Which G?
G3. It's an advanced quest that is Azur Rathlos and one other monster. I forgot what it's called.
Brachiodos.
Yeah,
Lab Partners.
Brilliant. Happy to hear that you've got that.
You know, I don't even mind if it stays looking like World does. Like in... Oh, my chicken is ready.
Go and eat it.
I'm just going to take it out.
Alright. Actually, yeah, I'd rather he didn't eat it. Brachydios and Azur Rathlos. I'll go... No, I won't go Hammer. I don't want to go Hammer. I will go Lance. Alright, I will go Blast Lance, simply because there isn't really a... No, Dragon! No. Ignore me. No, Dragon is not a good element to use against Brachydios and Azur Rathalos. I will go with Blast. That will suffice. So we may have a fourth person coming in. His name is Uncle Sam. I've played with him before. He has a strange name that resembles Samuel, but it's not Samuel. It's Samuel if you just had a sudden spasm and then typed something like, see? There it is. Sam Soel. I missed the chance to show you. It will come up here. Sam Soel. If that's his birth name, then I regret making light of it. And he left because he disconnected. Okay. That means that we don't have to worry about him actually getting in here and playing with us because... Oh, and he left the Citra Hall and then joined back, right. So he's trying to connect properly. I just hope that him being here is not going to cause instability for the rest of us. If that's just going to be what he has to deal with, then that's fine. I don't mind, but if it causes any of us to disconnect, that will be frustrating. And to be honest, it often does. It often does. Not all the time, but it can happen. Alright. So hopefully, and I do not know if this is going to be what happens, but hopefully when we complete this quest, Ethan will have a drive stone. If he doesn't, I will be completely confused, like officially confused. I was just saying, Ethan, that if you don't have a drive stone after we've completed this quest, I'm going to be totally confused and I will not know how to proceed. I'll have to start doing more Google searching.
Well, if I don't get it, that means that there's an activation quest, a quest that like triggers it, the entire thing, and then I have to. Well, then presumably all of those things.
Yeah.
Well, there might be a single one that I haven't done that's exclusive to offline mode.
Maybe.
That's and then possible. As soon as I do that, like, because I might have to go claim it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, we will not assume that we're wasting our time right now. It's just that we may not see the results or the benefits of it immediately. We'll find out. There is a person who is trying to join. I will give him one more chance to join and not disconnect. If he joins and then disconnects again, I will depart with that.
DC gamers.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of the running joke in the 4 Ultimate community. Everyone is just constantly disconnecting because the netcode for 4 Ultimate is actually abysmal. So it's not that people with good internet struggle. It's that these people have shit internet. Mm-hmm. And they're playing on phones, on Citra. I mean, if you want unstable circumstances, these guys are the kings of unstable circumstances. This guy keeps unlaunching and then launching Monster. So I don't know what he's doing, but he's not going to be ready to join anytime soon. So I reckon we go.
Hey, my chicken ended up not being, like, terrible, you know?
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not much of a seasoner. I'm not super great at doing that. But, you know.
I'm not much a fan of cooking chicken in general. It's just, it requires a bit more effort, I find. Or at the very least, the method is not quite as simple.
Oh, but back to what I was saying. I wouldn't even mind if they kept it looking the way that World looks, because I don't think World looks bad. I don't think it looks quite like, you know, the classic stuff does.
Well, it needs to look like World, at least. It needs to have a modern appearance, otherwise it's not going to appeal to anyone. Otherwise it'll just look like some aging thing from the past that will only appeal to a specific niche community. It needs to at least look accessible, I feel.
Right, as long as it doesn't move away from the style of Monster Hunter.
Well, yes, yeah.
I would agree with you. But if they gave me something similar to what I just described, which is an actual game about hunting, and then they gave you more things that you can do with the things that you're gathering, because like one of the things I have the most fun with in the story is upgrading my facilities so that I can multiply items better, eat better food. I mean, all sorts of things like that. Like, there are ways to make those systems really stand out and be better, and make them into really fun parts of the game that aren't just hunting big monsters, you know?
Hmm.
And, you know, nobody's willing to have that conversation.
Sieges, bro. That's all we need.
Yeah. We need fucking tower defense in our Monster Hunter game.
What a great idea. Just whoever came up with that at the board meeting, just really nice work. Seriously.
They obviously have their finger to the pulse.
Yeah. The community was crying out for that sort of experience, and on top of that, they found that it was so integral to the monster hunting experience that it was actually something that needed to be, how do I say, required. You had to experience it. It was part of your questing. It was an urgent requirement, which is stupid. It was one thing that I really hated about it. It was the fact that they didn't try to entice you into engaging with this new mechanic. They literally forced you to do it through urgent quests. And then inevitably,
Oh.
the only time people would experience it was when they were doing an urgent quest and they had no other joys. Some
Yeah,
people
please
were
no
open.
hit.
Yeah, please no hit. All those question marks that appeared on the screen are because he had a Japanese default shout, which, because he's playing on Monster Hunter 4G, and those symbols are not recognized in the lexicon of the game's lettering. As for the Y-Stone system, an interesting point of discussion, I think, is whether or not it's even a good system. I don't think you've experienced it too much, but it seems that you have positive first impressions, or at least your idea of what it is positive. I will say that I hate the system. I think it's stupid. I think it just detracts from the hunting experience. I think once you have experienced what it's like to hunt with Y-Stones, or at least to require them in order to hunt effectively, you'll start to see what's not
That
quite
it's
so
just
good
another
about them.
version of the Clutch Claw.
Similar to that, I guess. It's that I'll give you some examples of why it's annoying to need a Y-Stone in order to hunt the monster you're fighting. So, let's imagine you've activated your Drive Stone, which is the thing that you need to hit the monster. If you've just activated it, you are on like a 30-second to 60-second timer. I can't remember what it is now. And you have to hope that you're going to be able to get the monster out of its armored period within the time that your Drive Stone is active. Now, imagine you use your Drive Stone and then the monster inexplicably leaves the area suddenly. Maybe someone's thrown a dung bomb, or maybe it left sooner than you really were expecting it to leave, within reason. Like maybe it did something. Let's say, for example, the monster had been in the area for 5 minutes and then it left. Sure, there is a reasonable expectation that the monster's going to leave at that point, but maybe the monster does something unpredictable and it leaves the area. Well, you're now going to have to take the time to find that monster while you are wasting precious seconds that should be spent with your Drive Stone, in effect, hitting that monster. Well, that's not happening because you're chasing after it. As well as that, imagine you activate your Drive Stone and then you die. Well, once you have died, your Drive Stone is no longer in effect. You will have to wait for it to cool down again. So, once you return to the fight, you are ineffective until your cooldown has actually elapsed. And it's a long cooldown. It's like 2 minutes or something.
So it's basically like a less aggressive, invasive Clutch Claw,
yeah.
or rather a less invasive version of the Clutch Claw.
To be
Like
honest,
if
it's
you want to
something
be
that you
effective
wish
in
wasn't
this
there.
fight, you have to use it.
Mm. I don't have an issue
I don't
with
like that.
Yeah. I don't mind the
But I
monsters
also
being Apex.
I didn't realize it was going to be something that would follow me outside the story. I thought it was a story exclusive thing because of that one Seregios that you fight, and I really enjoyed that because I was like, wow, this monster is terrifying. Like, it's genuinely scary. And I haven't been scared of a monster in Monster Hunter in a fucking minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have an issue with Apex monsters. It's just that Apex monsters and the Y-Stone system go hand in hand, so therefore I don't like Apex monsters. I think the idea of having a level of frenzy that goes beyond standard frenzy and is in fact going to make the monster hit really hard and all of that business, and then you knock them out of that mode once you pass a threshold, that's cool. I just hate the whole drive Y-Stone system. I think it's very annoying. I think that was a mistake to make it so that you needed a Y-Stone in order to hit through the monster's armor. That was a mistake.
That's fair. And then
Some will argue
you can't just make it like if you use this you're stronger, because then you have to have it like applied for you
Yeah.
to be effective.
Some will absolutely make the argument, and I know these people will be out there. They'll say, "Oh, if you're in a well-coordinated team, which is code for a team that's not shit, you're never going to have that issue. Oh, the monster's going to lose its Apex mode like immediately." So all of these stories where you lose your cooldown or you're squandering your effective time period with Drivestone, that's all irrelevant because in actual practice, the monster loses its Apex mode so quickly. Well, it doesn't always happen. You know, sometimes you're two-manning. Sometimes the situation isn't favorable. I have absolutely 100% been in those situations that are ideal, where you knock that Apex monster out of its Apex mode within like 15 seconds with everyone just beating on it with a Drivestone. And at that point, do you know what? The mechanics of Whitestones don't matter anymore. But just because there are certain circumstances in which Drivestone mechanics are no longer even relevant to the experience of the hunt, all you have to do is activate it and then, okay, done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Well, that doesn't therefore invalidate other circumstances where, quite frankly, Whitestones are terrible. I don't think it's a good system. It's really not a good system. So, yeah. And then people complain about hyper monsters as well, or did at the very least. People didn't like hyper monsters because I suppose it was lazy. They turned up the difficulty in every regard, probably in an uncreative way. They made it so that the monsters couldn't actually become tired, exhausted. They had increased damage, increased health, but particularly that lack of exhaustion from the monsters just made them a little less dynamic. I think that's really what it came down to. I think people may have complained about, without really realizing what their point of contention was, I think what they were really complaining about with hyper monsters was that the monsters became less dynamic. But do you know what? At least you didn't need a fucking Whitestone to hunt the damn thing. Was it a perfect system? No. Like, hyper monsters perfect? Probably not, but realistically it was an improvement, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, they definitely went backwards with Clutchclaw, which I've only heard about but not experienced. I don't have any desire to experience it anytime soon.
So basically, the idea behind it is just that you have to create these weak spots on the monster in order to be remotely effective in the hunt. Otherwise, you're just like, you're wasting your time. So you have to spend, a significant amount of effort getting a clutch onto the monster where it's like you're basically mounted on the beast, and then you have to weaken an area on the monster, and then you're doing like full damage.
Yeah.
But before that, you're not doing full damage. You're doing like I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like markedly less if you're not being efficient with your clutch claw.
Yeah.
And because of that, it forces you to use it. And I don't like that, because at the end of the day, all that is it's just a bloat, right? It creates a bloat. The monster has more health, but it doesn't fight any differently. It's just more health. And the only way to get past that more health is to use this stupid system, which allows you to not have to get through as much health. And that's simply, that's 100% all it is.
Yeah.
It's a barrier to entry on what the monster's health should be, but because they've gotten to the point in the current games where the monsters are so weak relative to the hunters, and they can't think of a way of making the monster stronger without it just flat out being a one-hit kill every time they touch you, that they created that as a way of generating extra time on the hunt. And that's exactly how it feels. It just feels like somebody's wasting your time.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed when I heard that they had come out with a new gimmick for Iceborne, but I was emotionally detached from it because I had already divorced myself from that fucking game. And, yeah. I've only heard about it since, but it definitely doesn't add anything to the experience. That much is very clear. So...
Yeah, depressing. Uh, but at the same time, like I don't, I don't really expect anything else from like the solutions, the problem solving, because it's like okay, well we need these hunts to be harder because they're master rank. How do we make them harder? Oh, I have an idea. Let's just give the monsters more health. Brilliant. No, no, that's no. This ain't it. Because
Well,
I don't
obviously,
think that there's much different. I just got a mantle. I
as
don't think
well.
that there's much different between a high rank monster that may be a tempered high rank monster in world and a G rank monster that does not have that's been weakened. I don't think that there's a significant difference between them at all.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they're roughly the same thing.
I have to say, I am not really pursuing this monster. I'm searching for it. I don't know where it flew. I was looking for a shadow, but wasn't able to catch it.
Well,
So,
it's weak, so it went to the same place they all go when they're weak.
well, do you think so?
I think so, yeah.
That's why I went in this direction, but I was surprised to see that he had covered this much ground in one flight, but I guess that's what they do in 4th gen. Very well.
Rathalos be moving, dog.
Well, that much is clear.
Well, my chicken wasn't terrible, but it's not good.
Why am I doing the wake up? This guy's got a great sword. I feel rather foolish now. It's alright, the monster's dead.
He missed.
He sure did, but I'm probably mostly to blame for that. Alright, so with any luck you may have unlocked some Drive Wystone action now that we've completed this. If you haven't, then I don't know how to trigger that activation. Or that unlock. It is beyond me.
You know what else they could do?
Hmm.
They could have you upgrade your carving knife.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the difference between a high rank monster and a low rank monster is not significant. And there's no physical change on the monster at all. So one of the ways that they could make monsters, I guess, more high rank and move away maybe from the mission system, I think, would be to like if you want better quality carves, you go in there with a better quality knife. You know, something that you can go in there and target certain things with.
I think the idea of upgrading a carving knife is good, but I also don't want to throw away the idea of having new movesets as you go up the ranks. I don't know about high rank, but definitely G rank has been... It's usually been a situation where monsters will get new moves. So I don't really want to move away from that. I think that's a good idea.
Well, now that we have better AI in general, I think it would be cool to give, like, let's say, for instance, right, Rathalos has all sorts of different variations of Rathalos. I think every time you go in search of a Rathalos, you should have the opportunity to run into a Dread King Rathalos. I think that you should be able to run up on a monster that you cannot kill because you're just not geared for it, unless you're just really, really conservative and you're really good. And it would be cool if it was just a variant that just showed up. And the reason I say that is because Dread King Rathalos, the differences in his abilities are not that significant. And he should have access to almost all of the movesets of every other Rathalos. Like he should be able to do around the world. He should be able to do the tail swipe and the different. It just depends because the AI would be able to like, let's say for instance, it's like I have 3 potential moves because on the other side, like if you were to see this game from the monster's perspective, and that's a whole nother thing I would love to see is like a version of Monster Hunter that it's multiplayer where it's you're playing as a monster against 3 other hunters, and you have a move set and all that cool stuff, and it would just be like an online mode, like arena. Like you'd pick a loadout, you wouldn't get anything from it except for tokens. You could get tokens from it per craft, the same way arena already does, and it would be super cool if it had access to all of the Rathalos' moves and it randomly generated, for dynamic gameplay, it randomly generated which one of those made the most sense for where you were on the monster. Like, or near the monster. And then that way you're like, all right, I'm going to go take on this Rathalos. Boom. I accidentally just ran into a silver Rathalos. Now, I have a shot at beating this thing, but I might have to leave. It might not be the day. You know what I mean?
It's funny because what you're describing is a fleshed out version of what Capcom initially intended for subspecies. It was intended that you would happen upon them without knowing that they were subspecies, because the quests would not actually tell you if it was a subspecies when you departed on the quest. Now, once you realize that it was a subspecies quest, yes, you would always get a subspecies when you departed on that. But they wouldn't tell you. They wouldn't have a different name for the quest, and they wouldn't have a different emblem or symbol for the monster. It was just, you're hunting a Rathalos, but it might be an Azure Rathalos. Now, what you're describing is a more fleshed out idea where it's more interactive and just better designed, so Capcom decided not to go in that direction. I agreed with their decision to not go in that direction because at the end of the day, if you're trying to forge materials or forge with specific materials, you want to be able to reliably engage that monster that gives those specific materials, right? You don't want to have to be fucking around and sometimes hunting the right monster and then other times not. It feels like a...
Well, I think that like you wouldn't need to, like, okay, so in this scenario, by the way, I have my village request. I need Nursilla Cortex. I need 2 more Nursilla Cortex. I don't know if that's a G rank item.
It is, yes.
I think it is.
Standard Nursilla or Shrouded?
That would be just Nursilla.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure it's just Nursilla. Now, in my ideal scenario, this one that I'm painting for you, there wouldn't be multiple different versions of Rathalos armor. And if there were, it wouldn't really matter because, like, I think every one of those subspecies would have maybe 1 rare carve. Like 1 that isolated it, and it gave you the opportunity to make 1 variation of the same Rathalos armor. And it would make a small or minor change, but it would be one that would be like, oh man, I'm going to min-max and get myself like this silver piece. But the idea is that like all Rathalos contribute to Rathalos armor. It's a subspecies, but it still contributes to Rathalos armor and Rathalos weapons. So you would get mostly the same parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be cool because it would be like, okay, I'm not actually worried about what I'm going to carve off of Silver Rathalos. I'm worried about when I'm going to finally run into Silver Rathalos and if I'm going to be ready to beat him. Because if I beat him, I'm guaranteed to get that part. And then that would also lead to the idea of like, okay, guys, I've got a Silver Rathalos in my world. I see him right here. Get online. Let's get this thing taken care of. That way everyone gets this piece.
Frustratingly, precisely that last bit that you've described is not how people play video games anymore. That is literally a thing of the past. I'm not saying it's never going to come back, but the way of video gaming now is instant gratification. It's not, hey guys, this specific version of this monster is here, come and we'll hunt it. It's, I should be able to hunt this monster right now. Precisely this monster and right now. because that's what I expect out of my gaming experience, and that's what the SOS system is. The SOS system wasn't just Capcom making their own independent change within the series without considering what gamers want. That was actually a reflection of how people play video games now. You know, the system of getting into a party or into a group outside of, you know, playing with friends, like I'm talking about with random people. The environment where you get with random people, create a room, and have this cohesive interaction to get what you want. It's just, it is incompatible with what people expect and want these days. Not me, but a generality of people, yes. So I don't think that idea, while I like that idea and while I think that it would really improve the series and all of that, I don't think it's something Capcom would ever do, because they can see how that would not actually work with the wider gaming community.
I don't know how you could say that they would never do it when they decided to make Monster Hunter Stories, which nobody asked for.
Well,
and it's an almost exclusively single-player experience.
Well, this is the thing. I can't speak to what Stories is or what it does, but Stories, let's look at what Stories was originally. I think Stories was Capcom's desire to capture a younger player base that might then grow up and then play regular Monster Hunter. Because if you look at Stories, it was on the 3DS, it was more cartoonish, definitely geared at a bit of a younger audience, and the anime was pretty juvenile as well, so they were definitely trying to hit that younger audience. So when you say nobody asked for it, I think that's why. It's because they were trying to get that. They were trying to corner that demographic, you know. Let's say ages 6 to 10 in Japan, playing on the 3DS, and, Monster Hunter.
Well, first of all, I think you're right, but I still think that there's a place for it, and this is why I wish that there was a modding community. But P-Berry had a really great idea. He says that you could mark it for later, like you could use a paintball for it, or you could actually craft things called tags, where you just tag the monster, and then you have the ability to track it using like a raven or something cool like that. Like, there's all sorts of different ways that could be approached.
I've got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back momentarily, and I'll try not to die by the hand of this hermitor.
Yeah, take a poop. Thanks, P-Berry. We don't get very much time these days to do any gaming together because of how far apart we live. And we just have very conflicting schedules. So whenever we get the opportunity, they are terrible. Yeah, right now for me, it's next to 4 a.m. and I have work tomorrow. But when Doom says, hey, do you want to play some Monster Hunter? I'm going to try. I'm going to try for sure. It's worth it. Because I always love talking about and bouncing back and forth with him on, you know, what we think about the Monster Hunter world and the series and how it could be improved, how it's being treated now, the goods and the bads. I can't tell you how much time I spend thinking about it. It's a lot, more than I should. I actually follow a guy named Jacob on YouTube who did a video called Monster Hunter Forgot Its Genre. It's a super good video. It's like 2 hours long. It's basically a giant case study on Monster Hunter and where the series is now versus where it was, and what their original view was versus like where they are now and what they've chosen. And I liked a lot of his takes. And I use them to expand my own ideas as well. Like, I don't think I would have had some of the ideas that, because Doom talks about me like like I'm some kind of Nostradamus when it comes to coming up with better ideas than Capcom, but in reality, I wouldn't have had those ideas had I not spoken to him at length and listened to Jacob and listened to all of the things that people complain about. And because there's YouTubers that are very uh, popular in the scene right now that have been talking about their frustrations with modern day Monster Hunter, and I listen to all of it, and I formulate my opinions based on like what I think would be best for everybody to the best. Because no matter what you do, someone's going to be upset. You know, the guy who is a speedrunner who just goes in and he beats up the monster so he can see big numbers, and the person that wants to be able to go out and collect the things that they need for a farm so that they can sustain their hunting career. You know, like there are elements of the game that are fun to both of those people, and one of those elements just happens to be more fun to more people. And I would like to see them both, but it has to be in a way that makes sense and works together and is well fleshed out. And I think that it's the perfect time to do it too. Like we're just in such a time in gaming where we have so much at our disposal. We have AI, like we have Monster Hunter being written on a whole new engine, um, the World Engine, I mean, and they could do so much with it. And on top of that, we don't have a bunch of like they've pretty much already done the worst that they could do to alienate the original gamers. Like bring them back because at the end of the day, these new players aren't expecting anything super firm. They're not like, "Oh, well, Monster Hunter is this." No, Monster Hunter can be all sorts of things like now because you've effectively rebuilt the series from the ground up after Worlds. So now it can be anything. Like just experiment with it and add some cool stuff and see how it goes.
I also think that it's a time in gaming history for game developers to fucking take a chance. Because if you look at Baldur's Gate 3, and you look at how not modern gaming it is on every single level, and then also look at how incredibly successful it's been, that speaks to the fact that people have seen, maybe not in detail, but at least subconsciously, they have seen the flaws of modern gaming. And the fact that all of their desires cannot be sated by the way in which gaming has evolved. And that there is some value in traditional gaming. And Baldur's Gate 3 really showed that. So Monster Hunter, as far as I'm concerned, and Capcom obviously, can take the lead on this and just take a fucking chance. Like, make something that isn't necessarily brainless instant gratification, SOS system, no mining because why mine when you can hunt the monster, why gather when you can hunt the monster, why do anything when you can hunt, fucking boss rush, just streamlined to the max. Like, why don't you try to make something meaningful? Because I think people are ready for it. There will always be a percentage of people who don't want that. And do you know what? Fuck those people. But I think that you can actually create something that will appeal to a modern gaming audience that doesn't necessarily have to be just this totally clinical and sterile gaming experience. That's the way that I look at Rise anyway. So
Well, I mean, you have a perfect position to strike from with respect to evidence on that exact fact. If okay, so instant gratification, for as wonderful as it is, it's fleeting, and the
yeah.
games that are winning Game of the Year, the games that are really kicking it in the ass, are games like Elden Ring, which does not hold your hand for a fucking second. Like it attacks you. It makes you get better. It makes you learn. And like these are the types of games that lots of people love these games. So there's no reason to believe that that's not possible to achieve. There's zero reason to believe that you have to make your game into an instant gratification mess. You know, it's just ridiculous to think that that's required, especially of a game like Monster Hunter, where it's like the whole point of the game has always been like you're trying to come up against something that should, by all rights, be stronger than you and overpower you. And the only reason you're succeeding is because you're smarter, you're more prepared.
Whoa, what's going on? Like, literally, I was, doing the thing where I was answering the call to nature and I come back and we've failed the quest because I've not witnessed a death, right? Until now, and that has resulted in failure, so that came as a surprise.
I blame the new guy.
Yeah, who's this guy?
Somebody hit him. Somebody hit him. I don't know who it was.
Well, I'm not impressed by that outcome.
It was me. I hit him. I forgot it was a capture.
Oh, right. I forgot it was a capture quest as well, so you are forgiven for that. When I saw quest failure, I thought it was because of feints. That is how much I had forgotten it was a capture quest, so quite frankly I would have done the same thing, and no one is to blame in particular. Alright. Let's try that again.
Yeah, but they rebuilt Monster Hunter from the ground up. They have a whole new engine and everything. Like, these new fans, they have no idea what to expect. Because immediately after World, they created Rise, and that alienated a bunch of the World players who were just like, that's weird. But they experimented. They're willing to go that extra mile and do something new. I think that they could do it again. They could just there's these new players, they don't know what to expect. They don't have years and years and years with the series to go, oh, well, I can't believe that this isn't here, or I can't believe that they changed that. They have World and they have Rise, and those are two wildly different games. And they were for two different audiences for sure.
Which is incredible
the people
because...
that loved World hated Rise.
Yeah, like, I do not know. And this is why I hated Rise as much as I did. It was totally uncalled for, and I had no expectation of them doing that. They literally took two things. They saw the streamlining of Monster Hunter, and then an immediate, massive return. Just huge popularity, huge income, and they saw that and completely lost their minds. They went, whoa, let's streamline some more because this shit works. Were they completely unfounded in taking that step? Probably not. Like, they were probably reasonably well informed, if only for the fact that mainstream gamers are a bunch of mouth-breathing wastes of human life, generally speaking. Because, well, quite frankly, they were right, weren't they? Look how many people bought Rise. I suppose I was part of that, but I could see what they were doing. I just wish that more people were... Well, it's not so much about how many people bought Rise, but how many people fucking defended it for the first year. Think of how many people defended it, and not just, from the heart, like, almost as if to suggest that Rise was bad made you a gatekeeper, made you somehow an elitist, made you... I mean, I probably phrased it in that way. I'm not talking about myself. I realize that the way I choose to phrase these arguments can sometimes put people down who actually enjoy this stuff. I'm not talking about me. If people want to accuse me of being elitist, go for it. I couldn't give a shit. It's because that's how I choose to frame my arguments, and so I will wear that. I'm talking about other people who make arguments against Rise and get, automatically called elitists, because that's just the convenient way of doing it. It's just... that whole situation, quite frankly, shouldn't have existed in an environment where Monster Hunter had been trashed so egregiously that it should have been obvious to everyone that something was wrong here, but instead everyone was like, no, Monster Hunter's great, what do you mean, this is excellent, look, I can fly around. It was embarrassing to witness, and yeah, so in a way, they were not misinformed, and they didn't make a wrong step in terms of engaging the community. But I think, really, they should have only taken that streamlining step with World and then dialed it back a bit, or perhaps tried to plateau out a little bit with Rise, but they instead just took an Olympic long jump over the line of acceptability for what should be done when making changes to a game, particularly a game that is very specific in its style and its vision. Rise just comes across as a completely... It is completely without passion. That is what that game is. As for the quest that we're trying to do, it is Capture Nursilla. I forgot what it was that we were doing. I was looking for some advanced quest that had disappeared, but actually it's Capture Nursilla, so I will go and post that again. This guy seems to be under the misapprehension that purely on the basis of the fact that we failed that quest, we're now going to do his quest. That's not how that works. We still need to get this quest completed, and he is nothing more than a guest. So he's going to have to get used to that real quickly. So, the overall point is that I was surprised that Capcom chose to so insultingly streamline Rise, but it's not like I immediately realized the full gravity of that. I played the demo with Ethan and his brother, and as I was playing it, I wasn't sitting there just aghast at what I was seeing. There were a lot of things that I was displeased by, but I was open to it, because, you know, that's the sensible reaction. You have to allow the full gravity of Capcom's misstep to reveal itself over time as you play the game. You can't just immediately go, no, this is terrible, terrible, oh, awful, why would you do that? You have to really give it a chance. And yeah. I'll tell you what, with World, it took me many, many months. With Rise, 1 week.
Well, World had things that you liked about it. It was only after like a long time playing it, you were like, this feels, I'm at the point where I feel like it's kind of soulless. And it was because of all of the stuff that was like streamlined. It was because they removed elements of the experience that were really important to you. Like, one of them was just like how easy it was to make armors. I think that you and I had both maxed out like every one of our bow armors within the first 100 hours. And we were just like, do you just get a whole armor set after fighting a monster 3 times? Like, is that just how this works? Every single time you fight the thing 3 times, which is the approximate, I don't know, like 2 hours of work, and you've got a full armor set? That just... And that was early World, too. That was like before they dropped off all the cool changes and added all of the extra stuff to it. And they haven't made it any better. It's not like you really have to do the kind of work that we're doing right now to get one hammer set. In World, we'd have knocked out 4 or 5 sets in the amount of time that we've been hunting.
Yeah. I mean, we have spent a lot of time working on this hammer set. But do you know what? Once we finally get it, it will mean something. And the crazy thing is, like, when you... I don't know if you've really experienced it, Ethan, yet, where you're in an endgame character that you have many, many hundreds of hours in, and you have so many armor sets. It all looks like it doesn't mean as much, but then you sit back and you think about how long it took to make even one of those, and you go, wow, the time that I've spent really does mean something, because I have all this to show for it. I have so many of these armor sets that really take a huge investment of time to even complete one of them. And it's just, that used to be the standard. That just used to be the expectation of playing a Monster Hunter game, that you're going to put those hours in order to make your loadouts. And then that went away. But it's not like, see, every single time, what frustrates me about people who defend 5th generation Monster Hunter, I don't know if it's just a weak and dishonest debating technique or what it is, but you will make a criticism of Monster Hunter in the 5th generation, and then someone will attack that criticism as if that on its own is not a good enough reason to hate 5th generation. But it's like, well, it's not just one thing. I'm not proposing that this is a bad thing and then that automatically makes 5th generation Monster Hunter bad, or World bad, or Rise bad. Those games are bad, particularly Rise, based on a totality of very, very poor choices. Some of them less impactful than others.
I will say, World and Rise are not bad games. They are just not great Monster Hunter games. You got to be careful about your measurement technique here, because like you and me, we have a very different understanding of what we consider to be a good Monster Hunter game, and these people are playing it just as a game. And to them, it's like, oh, this is fun. I'm spending hours and hours in this, and it's like they're getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I don't begrudge them that. I'm glad that the game is there for them to have that experience. But every step that they take in I think the part that they don't understand about why we resent it is because every step taken for them is a step taken from us.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. But I think you're probably imagining a hypothetical scenario in which I'm saying that World is a bad game, and these people don't realize that I mean it in the context of Monster Hunter. So, you know, that phrasing is not always the phrasing that I use, and these conversations are had between myself and people who know that I'm comparing modern Monster Hunter to old Monster Hunter. But anyway, but that doesn't invalidate your point. It is true. But seriously, when I make a criticism, they take that criticism as if it's in a fucking vacuum, as if that is the entire argument. It's just, it's a composite argument. There is a huge picture to be painted for just how woefully terrible Rise is and how disappointing. Oh yeah, you're right, it is actually capturable. I'm going to try and get it in a trap now. Good call. I was a bit too invested in the conversation. Oh, are you kidding me? She was on the ground. It's alright, I do have a pitfall, but I can't... Do you have a trap, Ethan?
I don't.
Can I? Let's see if I can give you this pitfall. I bet I can't. I can. Alright, I'm going to give you this pitfall, Ethan. I can't place more than one trap at a time, so you'll have to be the one to place it. I think we have to pursue her in this direction. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make, just to finish it off, is that people, when they try to rebut my points, will take them as if they are points that exist in a vacuum. It's like, well, the wider issue is that this is one of many aspects to the game that makes it bad. You can take one of these things, two of these things, perhaps even three of these things, and it doesn't make for a bad Monster Hunter iteration. But when you take all of the shortcomings of the game, you literally have something that is no longer playable for an older Monster Hunter gamer who truly values what old Monster Hunter is. Some would argue that I can't adapt. I don't think it's so much about adapting, it's about establishing what you want out of a video game, and then if that is not replicated... Oh shit, is he leaving? He better not be. Yeah, you get over here. I've said this with Zelda, for example. I have a Zelda itch. Now, if Zelda changes to the point where it no longer scratches my Zelda itch, as far as I'm concerned, that shit's not a Zelda game. Same thing with Monster Hunter. If I'm playing a Monster Hunter game and that no longer scratches my Monster Hunter itch, it's not a Monster Hunter game. So, the idea is what is Monster Hunter to me? And that's probably different to everyone. But, yeah, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't have any more traps. Fuck.
Do you have dung bombs?
I do. I guess we can give that a try. Shit.
Yeah.
Literally,
Hit
shit.
it. Just hit it. It'll wake up. Hit it with a dung bomb.
So annoying. Capture quests are the worst. The reason why we're doing this is because there is no other standard Nasilla quest. For G rank, they want you to do Shrouded Nasilla for the most part.
Bye, Queen. Oh, right on top of the trap, too.
Well, that was fortunate.
Here we go, baby. Oh, right down here. Come on down, King. If only we had a fucking flash bomb for when he goes up there. Dude, get in the fucking trap. Don't make me tell you again. It's the worst place.
The worst kind of monster, really, to get in a trap.
Just fall down.
Fuck's sake.
Alright, where's the trap? We gotta get
And
near
then
the trap.
straight back on the fucking ceiling. Seriously.
I wish I had flash bombs. It's so annoying. I'm about to die. Get down here, bitch.
I don't think there's a fucking solution for this. Like, what, we hit her and hope that in trying to flinch her we don't kill her? Is that the fucking solution?
That's my solution.
Fuck.
I don't know if it's the right solution, but
Well, we had to dung bomb to get her here. This is the biggest waste of time I've probably witnessed in Monster Hunter. This is just ridiculous.
just another one of those systems I was talking about that could be improved upon.
Well, I'll tell you what can be fucking improved upon. The existence of capture quests. Get the fuck down. Oh, that was hard, wasn't it? Now you're back up there. After not more than 1 full second. Come on. Look at this. Oh, for fuck's sake. What even caused you to finally get in there? What did you do there that you didn't do 1,000 times before?
Yeah.
You stupid spider. Ugh. So hopefully this will give you the cortexes that you need. I don't know if
Yeah, hopefully.
So you're saying that you
Me too.
received a request that involved giving a person materials, and that seems to relate to the Y stones, is that right?
Yeah.
Good. Why those specific quests
Cortex.
had to be completed to get that, I couldn't imagine. But
Because this is it's another one of those, like, I mean, I hate to say it again, but it's another one of those systems that just needs to be improved on. Like, the villagers should give you their requests. They should just give you them.
well, they do usually. I don't know what's happened. I remember that it was not this confusing. I'm quite sure that it was a little more obvious than this when I was getting my drive stone. Maybe we skipped something obvious. I don't know. But how many cortexes did you need, and did you keep track of how many you got?
I did, and I needed 2, and I got 3.
Nice. That's good to hear.
My Wysium has leveled up. Research materials he requires. With said materials, he will be able to increase Y-stone effects. I'll do that one too. So now, I got 2 upgrades on the... Oh my god, the fucking emulator's screaming. Ow!
Is that what it sounds like?
Well, it's hella slow motion right now. Okay, I got drive and element.
That's what you want. So apparently doing those quests that we did would give you drive level 2. Apparently.
Oh, I have drive level 2.
Well, there you go. We've done it in a strange order. That's what this means. I don't know. So if the request was from the YCM, why would that request come after we did those quests if it wasn't related to those quests? That means to me that it was related to those quests. But if it was, then why would you unlock level 2 automatically? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe it was one of those quests that triggered it, and then we just kept doing more of them. Something like that. I don't know. Strange.
I'm gonna go ahead and restart my emulator.
Okay.
Saving real quick.
Cool. But yeah, we'll do Twilight of the Gauns. Can be your first proper Apex hunt.
Is the one that I already did in the story mode not a proper one?
Well, you didn't require a drive stone for it, so you don't... If you didn't require a drive stone for it, I wouldn't say that you had the proper Apex experience.
Well, it did require a stone. I just don't know if it was a drive stone.
It probably was, yeah. Okay, well you would have done one then. So we're going to do more of that.
Definitely a scary fight. Okay, multiplayer.
I'm going to go slicing because that seems to be very effective against these sort of monsters. Unsurprisingly. Right. I think I require Book of Combos level 4 to be able to combine for these shots with 100% combination chance, but I would have to put something away for that, so I'm not going to. Hopefully I have enough ammunition. I did not bring combination materials for normal level 2.
Oh lordy, it's one of these.
Oh yes. It's a good thing, at least we don't have to waste time getting to the monster. That's one positive. Alright, so once you're ready to engage the monster... So don't use your Apex, or rather your Drive Stone, until Apex mode has been activated. It'll be quite obvious when it has.
Oh, that's Apex mode right there, right?
Yeah, that's it, you've got it, alright, use your stone. So he'll turn very purple and very angry. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but I mean, usually when you engage them it will be immediate. So, I mean, it would be quite ironic if this was actually a frenzied Diablos. If this was a frenzied Diablos this whole time, that would be quite funny. I mean, you do need your drive stone, but yeah, we may not have actually needed it for this quest. It may be a frenzied quest, because there are times when you engage a frenzied monster and they become frenzied later on during the hunt. But I'm quite sure all Apex monsters will start Apex. So this is probably not Apex. Unless they try to make it some kind of sneaky surprise. Which I don't have any recollection of. I don't remember that happening at any point.
I don't like how few windows of attack opportunity Diablos gives you in G rank.
Yeah.
That whole like blast, turn, blast, turn, blast, turn, dig, and then he does it again, and he does it until he's exhausted. But like, you can't get close to the monster and dance with it. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I do not like Diablos at all. I don't like his design. I mean, you've always been pretty open to him, but
I like him in other games. This one in particular, I've had a negative experience with him. I like Monoblus way more in this game. Like, wow, what a fun fight Monoblus is.
he's pretty cool. I don't like him either.
And
I find him to be more unfair in certain scenarios.
A way cooler design than Diablos.
Yeah, the attacks are a bit more inspired.
Gotcha.
Oh, asleep. Oh no, it's Frenzy. So, yeah, this was a Frenzied hunt, which is definitely
all
not
this time-
Apex, but... Oh no, it is Apex, look! Okay, well, I guess some Apex hunts will be... Either this is specific to this quest, or some Apex hunts do actually, much like Frenzied hunts, actually begin later on. Alright, so you're going to have to use your Drive Stone at a time where it's not dangerous. Probably should have used a Force, or brought a Force Stone, but I don't have one. Once you have used your Drive Stone, you naturally have a limited amount of time in which to make use of it. And I'm hoping that I stop getting fucking beaten by this monster and I'll be able to actually use it. This was probably really dangerous and unacceptably risky for me to do. Fuck. So yeah, I'm already halfway through my Drive Stone, so I'd say it's 30 seconds. 30 seconds of effectiveness. I mean, that's stupid. Oh, that fucking follow-up. There you go. Just knocked him out of it. Thank God for this set, honestly.
Yeah, mine ended right as you did that.
So you really need that, otherwise you're going to be hard pressed to do any damage to the monster, so... And I'm using this set because we're 2-man, right? So... If we were not 2-man, we'd be having a lot more difficulties, or rather if I didn't use this set, and we were 2-man, we'd be having many more difficulties. Just trying to deal that amount of damage within 30 seconds.
Wouldn't be so bad if we could trap him or use some kind of status effect. We just...
I guess it would help. I don't believe monsters become resistant to traps when they're in Apex mode. Hopefully not.
They're not trappable in Apex mode. They're like Elder Dragons.
So that's why I've never seen a fucking Apex monster in a trap. That would explain that. I'm sure I would have remembered that in the past, I've just since forgotten, but yeah, I have no recollection, in addition to that, of ever seeing an Apex monster in a trap, so that makes sense. I shall combine my slicing shots at 95% success rate. I did actually craft some garbage there. The thing is, we do want to deal as much damage as we can before he reaches his next Apex mode. You live by the clock with these monsters. There you go.
I got the damage in. Oh. He keeps running. Oh my.
Yeah, it's that turnaround attack, which became a bit of a hallmark of Bloodbath Diablos. That's how that attack sort of re-emerged in the later games. Well,
He sure is scary. I like it. I'm bouncing even though I have my stone on.
Drive Stone?
Yeah.
Definitely Drive Stone.
Yes. I
Well,
think
I
it's because I was
suppose that
hitting
must
his
be-
wings.
Yeah, that must be just a standard bounce then, unrelated to Apex.
I think he's going for you. Never mind. He
As much as
turned
I
and he
want to
hit
heal
me.
you, I sort of want to get some shots out.
Yeah, mine's gonna basically be useless. It's already over. Oh, no, it's not. I've got time. Come here, you bitch. Oh, well. Goodbye, cruel fucking world. Oh, dead ass. That's super annoying.
Well, I wouldn't say you're an ass, but you're definitely dead.
That's cringe.
No! Thank you for the heal. At this stage, I can aim for the feet. It's just that because I have rapid fire, I can't really always be hitting the same spot accurately, so it's a little complicated. No! I'm being very aggressive, but I don't really have the defense to be that aggressive, to be honest.
That's all my healing.
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, I have one more. I'll save it for an emergency.
I
Is
think
my
we're going
wife
to
stone
reach the
back
point
yet?
where... What was that?
No. I was wondering when my wife stone would be back. I can't do anything yet.
Mine's about 2/3 of the way to recovering. I think we'll just have to wait, which is annoying. It's a whole lot better in the arena. And the reason why is because you're not having to deal with that additional frustration of the monster moving around the map, wasting your Y-stone if you've activated it. So in a way, this is an easier Apex experience than the standard Apex experience. Less to worry about. Can you imagine being in this situation? Like, imagine being in this situation and we wait for our drive stones to reactivate, and then just as we reactivate them, Diablos leaves the area. And then for 20 of the, or 15 of the 30 seconds of drive stone is actually us chasing the fucking monster.
After you.
Yeah.
I think he's turning around. Holy.
There you go. Motherfucker.
Oh, I've got a fucking grudge now, bitch. Come here. Oh, go fuck yourself.
It's hard to find a moment where it's actually safe to... I should have... Ugh. Well, I'm sorry. This is a... Okay, let me make this clear. In 4th generation, you are able to extend your invulnerability period by not getting up off the ground. But that is something that, when you play the older games that precede 4th generation, you just don't have that in your muscle memory. It's not there. So that is something that I could have done, and if it was still in my muscle memory, I would have done that automatically, like stayed on the ground, because it was dangerous. The idea is that if the circumstances after you've been hit are still dangerous, you stay down, and you're not going to get hit at all. But... I was trying to get out of the situation immediately.
Let's give it one more try before I gotta hit the hay.
Alright. I will try... Well, I'm happy with my loadout, actually. I don't think I can really improve it. I'm very happy with its effectiveness against Apex monsters, to be honest. I would imagine that, oh, there was a person who was trying to join us, and the guy's like, can I join? Rehub? It's like, well, I regret to say that we're in the middle of a hunt, so no, I'm not going to be rehubbing when we're in the middle of a hunt. And he left because he got no response. That would also be because I was in the middle of a hunt. So, unfortunate for him, but maybe he has found other people to play with, I don't know.
Doubt it.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Just stay here and I'll talk to you. He probably waited for 60 seconds. It was like, I can't take it anymore. I've had to wait 60 seconds of my precious young life. Waiting to be spoken to by person on the internet. Must leave. Fuck off.
This game's clunky.
Yeah. Fuck me.
Yeah, how do I aim?
Classic Ethan references, actually.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard because I had been playing World, so it was like I didn't know how to aim anymore.
Yeah.
All right, don't roast me, dog.
I'm sort of tempted to use normal shots before he actually reaches his Apex mode. Because this is actually a normal light bow gun set, which I don't use anymore. Which is to say, that style of gunning is not something that I bother with anymore. This was a set that I made a long time ago, when the pyramids were still young. When I actually didn't realize that it's fucking counterintuitive to have a gun that is forced to shoot in one specific direction for up to 2 full seconds when you're aiming for a very specific weak point, which is what you should be doing with a normal bow gun. But you see, rapid fire is not like full damage for every shot, it's divided across all of the shots, and you only really deal more damage if you get all of your shots off. Or at least all of 3. Maybe if you get 3 out of 5, it's still more. I don't know. I don't know how.
Long ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I thought you were
I
gonna
was just.
go into it. But, yeah.
I don't remember all of it.
Egyptian kings played a game of great and terrible power. These shadow games, something or other. I don't remember it. Evidently more than you, for some reason. But,
Oh god, dude. Classic Yu-Gi-Oh is such a fucking experience. It cannot be equaled.
yeah.
It was just borderline perfection.
I guess in a way. What I liked about it was that it just took itself so seriously that all the absurd things were cool.
Oh yeah. Like the way they would draw cards and shit. The
Yeah.
kids try and imitate today.
Yeah.
I love
Man.
watching people do that shit on the internet and they pull the card and they like whip it back behind them.
Yeah.
Can you get damage out during this part?
Well, you see, that I'm not sure about. I have always wondered that, and so just in case you can't, I don't bother. I will have to figure that out. Yeah, I think Twilight of the Gods is a pretty over-the-top name for an Apex Diablo's quest, but... Oh, I forgot to use my drive stone. I had best do that. But yeah, I think that's actually the best way to proceed. Only use my slicing shots for getting this monster out of Apex. Oh! Obviously, the more I can aim these slicing shots at a weak point for cutting damage, the better. That's obviously a big factor. There you go, very good. And now to normal shots. Which hopefully will be sufficient. Like, I hope that my normal shots will deal enough damage Might get this little fucker in a trap.
You can trap him right now, so.
Yeah. Well, I know that. Oh. Bitch.
Bitch.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying Little Karibo's
Little-
watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's been a lot of fun.
I think just watching anything involving Little Karibo is so nostalgia bait, you know, like,
Yeah. Well, I grew up on that shit. Like, when he started that series, I was a young tyke on the internet, and I'll tell you what, it was the best thing since sliced bread, as they say. Or whatever. Could be better than sliced bread. It was better than that.
and sliced bread is pretty fucking good, man.
It is good, but like... Yeah, I look back on the earlier episodes of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, and I'm like, this was rough, but you didn't really notice because that's how everything was back then.
Yeah, it was pretty standard. I can't think of anything. Like, even Dragon Ball Z Abridged, you look back on the early stuff and you're just like, wow, this writing. Oh, you're green, Piccolo. Are you a Yoshi? Yes, Goku, I'm a fucking Yoshi. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I still find it funny because you can almost... what's the word? Compartmentalize your humor. You can almost regress back into when that was funny. In a way. And not funny because it was somehow more on point at the time. More like standards were lower. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah. No, well, Team 4 Star's work became quite legendarily good later on. Like
Yes,
they were
yeah.
very good.
I'll
I just
tell you what,
spent
though, there is
fucking
still a
ages
scene.
putting that stupid trap down. Yeah, go on.
There is still a scene in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. It's a relatively recent episode, and I say recent because I just mean it's like a later episode amongst them. And it still makes me laugh to this day because it's Yugi and Kaiba are dueling on that in Battle City
Yeah.
with their Egyptian gods. And Yugi will not stop bringing up the fact that Kaiba is adopted.
Yeah. Well, he became such a nasty character as the series went on. He just became like that. Like, that was his little shtick. It was to be really nasty to people. Yeah.
I fucking love it so much, dude. Just like the idea that Yami Yugi would be a fucking shit talker is so
Yeah.
funny to me.
Yeah.
Or the idea that he can't stand Taya. Like, it's just so funny. My breasts. Oh, I'm dead.
I have to say though, I did recently go back through the I recently went back through the Abridged series, and wow, it when they say they don't make them like they used to, like big time, it was so anti-women, anti-gay, anti-everything. Well, not anti. It was that all the jokes were like that way
Comfortably,
inclined.
they were comfortable making fun of that stuff.
Extremely comfortable, like just wow. And it just reminded me of my childhood. It's like, that's how I grew up, you know. And it just,
Back when you could make fun of the women's and the gays.
well, fucking hell, like it was, one episode in particular was so bad about women. It was like, I won't even repeat it, but it was just, the entire theme of that episode was making fun of women, like, to the extreme, and it was it was something like, I think it was Taya dueling My Valentine, and it was something like, how could two women be playing a children's card game? And it just, oh my god. It was,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
bad.
Yami's like super sexist, right?
Yeah. I will unashamedly say that I burst out into almost tear-inducing laughter when Tristan just yells out to Taya, "Take off your clothes!" And I just... and oh
There's a couple of running gags in the show that are just like they're just perfection.
yeah. But that's the thing, like, the humor is, like, quite... What I love about Little Kuribo is that he looks back on the humor of his older stuff and he actually turns it into a joke for his later series. Like, back when the writing was shit for Yu-Gi-Oh! And we made fun of things like that, you know, like, he's good at making fun of himself for it as well. So... Because it's not creative humor to just, you know, make fun of women brainlessly. I mean, I find it funny because I haven't heard it in so long, but yeah, it's not very creative. And he definitely, he's good at making fun of himself for it.
I would love to see him, like, just no bones about it, do a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX abridged, like...
Well, he wanted but he's too invested in... Yeah.
What's he doing right now?
Well, he's still doing the original. He's still, like, making those episodes, and so he doesn't want to be distracted from that. He considers that to be such a large project, and it is, if you think about it. For the time that he's able to allocate to it.
And darts. Fucking darts.
He's great. Yeah. Well, the most recent one with Siegfried from the filler arc, just literally the most offensive German accent that could be conceived of is what he chose to go for. And so I was so happy to hear that. I was initially disappointed that he chose to, you know, adapt the filler arc. I was like, oh, just go straight into the last one. Come on, that would be great. But then as soon as I heard Siegfried's voice, I was like, oh no, this is going to be excellent. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's funny. Like, it's just...
I don't even remember who Siegfried is.
He's the pink-haired girly guy from... Oh, for goodness sake. Again, I'm not lying down on the ground when things are dangerous. That's really what I should be focusing on. I should be doing that when it happens.
Hey, you gotta lay down and take it.
Yeah. I definitely should.
I'm your daddy, Kaiba. What a fucking... I
should just follow through with slicing shots from
now I have to go watch some of it. I haven't seen it so long.
No, it's I will give you the episode that I was talking about, like where Mai and Taya are dueling. It was like, oh, it was refreshing but also terrible. I'm not gonna say I was laughing guiltily, but it was bad.
You also gotta think about it from, like, he was younger and he probably hadn't had a ton of luck with women, knowing his hobbies.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't know how to relate to them, and he certainly doesn't know how to write them being funny. And he knows what he finds funny, which is just making fun of them.
Yeah.
For all of the various ways women can be made fun of, and he's doing that because it's easy. Like, I know that early stuff was not easy to write.
Yeah, a lot of it was pretty well done. Just he was also very good about how he really, really ripped into the British stereotypes. And just the way he treated Bakura as a character, just because he had an English accent in the dub, despite himself being English. Like, that was... He literally treated him like trash in terms of his writing, purely on that basis. And it was very, very well done as well. Very clever.
Yeah, he was really funny. He was just like, I'd like a spot of tea, because I'm British. Bakura is such a great character in the abridged too, just in general, like the way that he plays him. Oh, and fucking Malik. Malik
Yeah,
is so good.
yeah. They have a
I'm trying to think of any character that's not good. There's not a single one. There's not a single character that's not fun in the abridged. Like fucking Joey. Joey's better in the abridged than he is in the real show.
yeah. I think he was always meant to be sort of a comic relief, and obviously, Little Karibo was able to write a better version of that. So
Yeah. Brooklyn Rage. Ugh. And I have to watch it tonight. Thanks a lot.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go back and watch the episode where Yugi makes fun of Kaiba for being adopted. Oh god. It doesn't get better than that, dude. Like imagine being that guy though. Just for a second. Just imagine. If you were that guy in real life. Like you know this dude spends you're Yugi, right? You know this guy spends every waking moment he has trying to beat you in a children's card game. And you make fun of him because he's adopted. I got a Zenith Wyvern, Jim. Is that good?
yeah. Was it a hold on? Did it end with the letter L to mean large?
No.
No. Well, the standard one's okay. The L one is good. So to hone a rarity 8 or 9, you need a standard. To hone a rarity 10, you need an L.
All right. That is the last one I'm gonna be able to do tonight. But holy
Yeah.
dude, like, just I love it. I love it so much. It hurts sometimes.
Yeah. Alright, well, we
Making
got a
fun of
decent
crap.
amount done. We got Y stones and things. We got some Tiger Stripe Zamtrius materials. Definitely, well, I suppose this could have been in the Random Hunt series, but I'd say it's appropriate that it's considered, or that I've classified it as, hunting with purpose. It was good to have you with us as well, P-Berry. And for everyone else watching, thank you for joining us. I would imagine that we'll try to do this again in the future, but obviously sometimes we'll want to hunt in our own time, not recording, because honestly Ethan and I do not have much time to play together these days. Our availability does not tend to intersect very conveniently, so yeah. But we'll try to make it happen more often than not. What I will say though is so long, and indeed thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.
See you guys.